Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Darlene Graham has advanced to a Republican primary runoff in South Carolina. Appointed by President Trump to complete the term of her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham, Darlene Graham will face Congressman Ralph Norman in that special GOP runoff in a couple of weeks. In the Minnesota GOP governor's contest, MyPillow founder Mike Lindell fell short in his bid for the party nod. Lisa DeMuth won the Republican primary for governor in Minnesota. On the Democrat side, the Wisconsin governor's primary, the establishment-backed candidate, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, managed a razor-thin victory over his Democrat socialist challenger, Francesca Hong. The search for life in the rubble of Colombia's powerful earthquake is growing more desperate. Search teams are racing the clock to find survivors before it's too late.
With every rescue, there's renewed hope. Applause broke out when Diana Lucia was extracted from the rubble of a site in Cali, one of the worst affected cities. She was taken on a stretcher to a waiting ambulance. It had taken 16 hours to save her. Colombia's president, Abelardo de la Espriella, had hailed the rescue of another woman, Daniela Andrea Lago, in another badly hit city, Pereira. Some 200 people are still missing, and efforts to find them continue unabated. The first 72 hours of the search are crucial, a period that runs till Thursday morning local time.
The BBC's Danny Aberhart. President Trump is now confirming that he did indeed slip away from Air Force One following a trip to the NATO summit last month in Turkey. He says the Secret Service and military wanted him on a different plane because of a threat. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 88 points higher, NASDAQ futures up 200 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
South Korea says North Korea has launched a ballistic missile toward the sea, the second such weapons testing activity by North Korea in less than a week. North Korea's launch events are likely a protest of the upcoming Korea-U.S. military drills that North Korea considers an invasion rehearsal. South Korea's military says it detected the launch from North Korea's east coast around 6 a.m. local time. The launch came 2 days after South Korea and the U.S. announced that they'll kick off their annual military drills next week to beef up readiness against North Korean threats. Authorities in Indonesia say rescuers have evacuated 172 people and recovered the body of a passenger from a ferry that caught fire earlier today in rough seas. Officials initially reported 131 people on board based on the ship's manifest, but later determined that more people were actually on that vessel. News and analysis, townhall.com. It was a close call for this high school athlete who discovered a little something extra in his protective headgear.
Can't blame a high school football player in Arkansas for being just a tad bit scared. He found a venomous snake inside his helmet. A 2-foot cottonmouth was discovered behind some padding and was rather reluctant to exit the helmet. Police officers poured water into the headgear to force the snake out and into a bag. The slithery little fellow was then taken to a wooded area and released. Jason Walker reporting.
Toyota is recalling hundreds of thousands of Camrys over a display error that may deactivate turn signals and other indicators. Most of the cars are sold in the U.S. Recall involves 508,000 2025-26 Camry hybrids. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Piers 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Well, happy Wednesday morning, everybody. Hump Day. This is the John Fredericks Media Network. I'm Dan Hobgood. Time for a look at, among other things, weather and sports. We'll start, as we always do, with where I am in Richmond, Virginia, where the high today will be a seasonably milder 89. A low tonight of 72 with spotty storms. Right now, the temperature in the River City, 71 degrees. Squirrels fall at Harrisburg last night, 4-2. First pitch tonight for the teams, 5 p.m. In D.C., the high today will be 90 degrees, a low this evening of 73. Right now, the temperature 74 degrees in the nation's capital. The Nats fall to the Cubs yesterday, 8-6. First pitch for the teams tonight at 6:45. In Atlanta, you're looking at a high today of 90 degrees with spotty storms. A low tonight of 70 with possible storms. Right now, the temperature in Georgia, 71 degrees. Braves blank the Mets 4-0. The teams will face off again tonight, beginning at 7:15. In Nashville, you're looking at a network high today of 96 degrees with intermittent storms, a low tonight of 73 with possible storms. Right now, the temperature in Middle Tennessee, 77 degrees. Titans at San Francisco for the preseason Game 1 tomorrow night at 9 p.m. That's tomorrow night at 9 p.m., Titans at 49ers. Philadelphia, your high is going to be 86 degrees today, a low of 71 this evening with possible storms. Right now, the temperature in eastern Pennsylvania is 77 degrees. The Cards blank the Phils in St. Louis 2-0. They'll face off again today at 2:15 this afternoon. Morgantown, shout out to all yins. High today of 81, a low tonight of 69. Right now, the temperature is 67 degrees in wild and wonderful West Virginia. And last but certainly not least, unless we're talking about the NL Central, Pittsburgh. Your high today will be 81, a low tonight of 69. Right now, the temperature in the Steel City, 68 degrees. The Buccos. You know what? Packers at Steelers tomorrow night at Acrisure Stadium, 7 p.m. That's what I have to say about that. The A's, Jacob Wilson's errorless streak continues, now at 113 games, and Caitlin Clark scores 22 to lead the Fever past the Liberty as the league's powerful black lesbian caucus plots her murder. Bringing you today's weather and sports update is the Godzilla Wins radio show. For the best insight, analysis, and picks, watch and listen to Godzilla Wins Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Plus, to get John's daily sports picks, go to GodzillaWins.com. Again, that's GodzillaWins.com. All right, folks, get your active minds ready for a few words to the wise. For the first time with the Dan Hobgood Report, we are revisiting a subject, as something said last weekend on one of the Sunday shows perfectly illustrates a previous point of mine. Maybe you remember when I said this on July 13th in the edition of the report entitled, "Is America a Democracy?" The overwhelming majority of people who refer to America as a democracy do so both obliviously and innocently. However, the idea is not an innocent one, and its chief advocates do not articulate it obliviously. By seducing you to think that America constitutes a democracy, the sophists are trying to bait and switch you, luring you into thinking that democracy is compatible with individual rights, all while, slowly but surely, impressing upon you by way of the actual meaning of democracy, that your personal sovereignty is subordinate to the will of the people or the like. Now, hear what AOC said about democratic socialism last Sunday on ABC's This Week.
By the way, just a quick definitional thing. What, in your mind, is the difference between socialism and communism?
I think, to me, the fundamental differences, there's many. Yeah. One prevailing one is democracy. And I believe that democratic socialists are fundamentally pro-democracy. And we believe in the ballot box. We believe in respecting the outcomes of elections and governing democratically and ensuring that the ideas and policies that are implemented are won through popular vote and popular opinion. And so I think that's why so much of what we focus on is also making sure that we are providing for the majority of Americans, guaranteeing health care, raising wages, strengthening the right to a union. And I think that that's at its core what we're about.
Okay, so nobody should mistake AOC for Aristotle, but she's smarter, relatively speaking, than people in general think. And she's certainly smarter than most voters. She knows the actual meaning of democracy, she was just telling us. And she's in favor of actual democracy, at least for now, because she sees majoritarianism as a means by which to transform America. Yet, she is counting on people hearing what she's saying to mistake democracy for a rightsocracy. But as we here at the John Fredericks Media Network all now know, democracy offers no inherent sanctuary for man's rights. And what's so evil about that which AOC is doing is that she's hoping she can dupe people just until it's too late for them to find out the truth and stop what the DSAers have planned. Of course, we shouldn't be surprised that the average person thinks that America is a democracy. The goal of social studies in government indoctrination centers, aka public schools, has been to confuse students about the nature of our founding, for the same reason that AOC is trying to mislead people. I used to think that the concept of rights was the least understood, politically oriented concept of all. Now I think that it's actually democracy that's least understood. The good news and bad news about this phenomenon are one and the same. Democracy is a fairly easy concept to grasp. Regardless of that, the DSA's strategy shows why equating America with a democracy is so dangerous. Unless our populace becomes more enlightened, mistaking America for any kind of a democracy will be no less lethal than mistaking a malignant tumor for something benign. Okay, this has been Dan Hobgood for the John Fredericks Media Network. Outside the Box with the Ox is next, followed by The John Fredericks Show. Stay tuned, everyone.
Didn't you hear me? I said Operation Metro Surge. Doing everything they can to keep that ill-fated fatal exercise front and center in the news, Minnesota Democrats and their henchmen now insist it's hurting the children. Quote, it's hard to describe, but they were quiet, and I knew that it was bothering them, and I knew they didn't have the words to talk about it. And so I would say every single student was affected in one way or another, close quote, says one Stillwater teacher. That they can't concentrate, that they just answer C to every question.
Aren't you taking this test tomorrow? 500 questions in 2 hours.
All multiple choice, it's easy. It's common sense stuff.
Which subsequently affects overall test scores. 2/3 of teachers say they observed increased fear and anxiety. 47% said students were noticeably withdrawn, that they'd go into the back room and cry, and they're distraught that they can't call their mom because of the cell phone ban. All because dangerous illegal immigrant criminals were being removed from their neighborhoods. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Thinking outside the box, I remember as an 8-year-old having those same emotions about Watergate, Vietnam War prisoners being returned, the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation occupation, and Bobby Riggs losing to Billie Jean King in primetime.
Okay, so...
Couldn't take tests or make eye contact with anyone, and had to go in the back room and cry every day, desperately hoping a Democrat would get elected president to save me from all that emotional torture. Obviously, the overarching motivation in this case.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Here outside the box with the Ox in the Eastern Time Zone and now in West Virginia on the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild.
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short.
John, thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineers sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next-level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
You hear a lot about weight loss injections because the results are dramatic, but injections aren't for everyone. So doctors created a new generation weight loss supplement. This is non-prescription lean, and the science behind it is impressive. The studied ingredients in lean are intended to address weight loss in 3 powerful ways: help maintain healthy blood sugar, help control appetite, and help convert fat into energy so you burn it faster.
Get 20% off with discount code Godzilla at TakeLean.com. Code Godzilla at TakeLean.com.
Pennsylvania's big casinos want it all. Your money, your games, your choice. They rake in millions, then lobby Harrisburg to shut down the small businesses that dare to compete. Bars, VFWs, local spots, crushed so the casino giants can get even richer. They want to rig the system against you, but Pesomatic is fighting back. Skill games, fair play, real competition. No monopolies, no backroom deals. Just your right to play and win. Call Harrisburg now. Stand with small business. Stand with Pesomatic. Pesomatic, leveling the playing field. Paid for by Pesomatic.
Godzilla Wins, where you get the best insight and best information on how to win the most money ever.
Guess what? GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
Site for the dough. GodzillaWins.com.
GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
If you want it straight, you know where to go.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man about whom John Stamos once said, now there's a good-looking dude, John Fredericks.
The Senate has to get going on Save America. I really believe that because people expect that to happen, and it has to happen. And you have a couple of Republicans who aren't voting for it, a few. You know, it's about an 89% issue with the overall population, including Democrats. Save America is voter ID with photo, by the way. You know, it's nice to have a... They're fighting on the photo. We don't want a photo. No, why don't they want? Because they want to cheat. You know, it's very simple. There's only one reason. But we want to have that. We want to have proof of citizenship. So be nice to say, yes, I'm a citizen. Here's my citizenship. Proof of citizenship. And ideally, but we're not even stressing this because that's only a 79% issue. You know, that's not in the 90s. The mail-in ballots are so corrupt. You know that.
Right.
They're so corrupt. By the way, they talk about munitions, and we're fine with munitions. You know, we're fine. But the reason it would be lower, and we're building them like crazy, but the reason it's low is because he gave $300 billion worth to Ukraine. He gave them all. He gave, you know, They never mention that. They never like to mention that. Now, I give to Ukraine also, but they have to pay, meaning the European Union. I don't do Ukraine. I give it to the European Union. They have money, and they pay top dollar. They pay full dollar. I don't want to say top because, you know, I'm not looking to pay top. But we sell munitions, we sell fighters, we sell everything to the European Union, and they do what they want. They give it to Ukraine. But Biden gave numbers away that were just crazy. You know, when I left, pre-Biden, I left, the cupboards were totally full. He emptied the cupboards largely.
Right.
That's it's not the way we spent in if you look at Iran. It was very little by comparison. The tremendous, and he didn't replace them, but now we're replacing them at record numbers, and we're getting back up. But I have to tell you, nobody ever mentions the fact that I gave him every warehouse. We had to take additional warehouses because here's another story. In 2016, when I came in and a general told me, good general, said, sir, we have very little ammunition. I said, you got to be kidding. What's that all about? And we had a couple of potential conflicts on the way, by the way, which I said, well, I guess we're not going to do that. But we had a potential conflict. He said, we don't have, because what happened, that was a different thing. Obama didn't want to spend any money on the military. So when I got in, we had very little. Now I come in a second time, and Biden gave so much of it away to Ukraine. But we're rebuilding it fast. We have plenty. Just so you understand, oil is lower than it was during the Biden administration. And I stopped them from having a nuclear weapon. Because if I didn't do what I did, they would right now have a nuclear weapon, and you would be addressing them as sir. You would call them sir. You know, one of those things.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Thanks for joining us today. Coming live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Just saw that Wayne Allen Root interview. Wayne must have been jumping out of his suit there. He likes to talk. He couldn't get a word in edgewise. You know, when I interview the president, I ask a question. He gets done. I ask another question. Like, you're on with the president of the United States. Nobody cares about you commentary. I got 4 hours a day to do commentary, so I don't need that. Anyway, it's great to have you with us today, as always, on the John Fredericks Media Network. Well, we've got lots of poll results. We got lots of election results. Let's start with Minnesota, where David Crowley defeated Democrat socialist whack job communist Francesca Hong. I was rooting for her to win, and he defeated her. He had dropped out of the race. Then he came back in when somebody else dropped out, and they had to get somebody, a Milwaukee County executive, and now he's going to go up against Tom Tiffany, and Tiffany has got a shot to win this race. Had Hong won, Tiffany was going to win by 7 points. But Also in Minnesota, so they took one of the communists, took it on the chin, was ahead in the polls the whole time, but she was just even too crazy for the communists. She was too crazy, right? Wasn't this the chick that wanted to cancel Thanksgiving? She said no Thanksgiving. She was ashamed that she had married a white guy and she had a son that was a mixed race child, and she was embarrassed that she was so close to whiteness. I mean, this is what they're dealing with here. But again, as I've been saying, they don't care about winning. They wanted her to win this governorship. They want to take the party over, and they want the Democrat. In order for the communists to take the party over, understand the Democratic Party, as it is right now, has got to lose. The more you lose, the easier it is to take it over, right? Just like we took it over in 2016 because of the Romney defeat in 2012 and the McCain defeat in 2008, right? You've got to lose to take a party over. So, but the good news is for the communists, they did get what's her name, Patty Flanagan, in there. So Flanagan is going to be the go up against Michelle Tafoya in Minnesota. That should be actually a competitive race. I think Tafoya has a shot. This was in Minnesota, outside shot. We haven't elected a Republican from Minnesota since 2022. And if memory serves me correct, that was Norm Coleman, who then got beat on fake ballots that came in at the end by Al Franken. So you got to go all the way back. Let's see, this is going to be 24 years. Going to be tough to do, but possible. Also, Minnesota governor's race. Mike Lindell going down the tubes rather handily, gets beat by the current Speaker of the House for the Republicans. And she's going to be a formidable candidate. She's going up, though, against Amy Klobuchar, who's very popular there. But Amy's got to deal with the fraud, but she was in the Senate, so she can wash her hands of it and things like that. So Minnesota's still tough, but you might have two competitive races. In Wisconsin, the one that I'm looking at is Wisconsin 3. Derek Van Orden, DVO, is going to have another tough race against the candidate that he's up against, who he's beaten before. This is her third time running. That makes it tough. You think, well, perennial candidate, not really, not when you're losing a congressional seat by 4 points, 3 points. She's going to be tough. She's going to have a lot of money. That's a seat the Democrats have to flip. We're going to be watching it. But DVO, one of the toughest candidates that you're going to find, and we're going to get him on our show on a regular basis. So we're excited about that. In South Carolina, there's going to be a runoff between Darlene Graham and Ralph Norman. Darlene Graham getting about 34% of the vote. Ralph Norman getting 23% of the vote. This goes to a runoff. Here's Darlene's problem, okay? The people that didn't vote for Norman are not voting for her. That was the problem with Burt Jones in that runoff. That's why he got beat by Ricky Jackson. If you voted for Raffensperger, you're not voting for Jones. If you voted for Chris Carr, you're not voting for Jones. This is the problem that Darlene Graham has. Ralph Norman is a proven, solid, 100% conservative, doesn't always agree with the president on certain things, but he would call him MAGA. He's part of the Freedom Caucus, no doubt about it. And he has a shot finishing second to put a coalition together to win. If I was there, I'd vote for him in a heartbeat. Nothing the matter with Darlene. Enjoyed the endorsement by President Trump. Don't know her, don't know what she stands for. I have no earthly idea. I know what Ralph Norman stands for, and I know who he is, and I know what he's done. And he's got a long track record. So I don't want to take chances right now. I don't want to roll the dice. I have no idea. I don't want another Amy Coney Barrett. Looks good on paper, then gets there and caves. Not interested. She'll probably be okay. But you know what? If I got a choice, I'm going to go with the sure thing. I think Norman's going to win this race. She was get this. She had Trump's endorsement and was and had the money and was well under 50%. Now, when you're in a runoff and you're in the high 40s, 46, 47, 45, you're going to win because you don't have to pick off that many voters. When you're at 33, 34%, and the next guy's at 24%, and then everybody else voted against you, you're in trouble. Where's she going to get another 16%? I don't know. I don't see it. I think Ralph Norman comes back and wins this race. Now, the president will probably go down there and campaign for her, which if he does that, it's going to make a difference, no doubt. But this thing is coming up pretty fast. So if he can't get there, just does one of these, tele-rallies on the phone, Norman's got a shot. I mean, it's hard to argue that Ralph Norman isn't going to be there for conservatives and for MAGA 2.0 far into the future. It's very tough to argue with that. And he certainly get rid of the filibuster, do the things that we need. So that's your quick update. This result in Wisconsin, a major blow to the communists. They were hoping that a Hong victory would demonstrate the movement can deliver bigger wins in battleground states. Remember, Wisconsin was a state that Trump won by 30,000 votes and paved the way for a communist to win the 2028 presidential race. Didn't work out that way, but it was close. I mean, Hong was close. She wanted to cancel Thanksgiving, and she's embarrassed that she married a white guy. Imagine being her husband. I'm embarrassed I married a white guy. Imagine being her son. I'm ashamed of my son's whiteness. That's your son, you imbecile. This is how these people are, right? This is how they are. This is how she was trying to appeal to the new racism in this country. And the new racism is whites. That's the new racism. It's flipped. I'm embarrassed because I married a white guy and have a mixed race son, and I'm too close to whiteness. That's her words. She also wanted to cancel Thanksgiving. She said, we're celebrating. What are we celebrating? We stole the land from indigenous peoples. Shameful. No Thanksgiving. Cancel it. She almost won. Hey, it's all good. That's where we're going to win. Stay with me, John Fredericks Media Network, Truth or Clarity, right here. Veterans and First Responders Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98. Queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
You know, you can't turn the ball over 5 times like that. Holy crap. I don't know who the hell we think we are when we do something like that. Unbelievable. 5 turnovers. One of them, we've thrown 4 interceptions for touchdowns this year. That might be an NFL record. That's pitiful. I mean, it's absolutely pitiful to perform like that. Pitiful. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Don't touch that dial. You found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
It's interesting. I mean, that one, for example, you can see why you might choose to take down. Yeah. Others, it's less clear. So then you sort of wonder what's the line that goes through all these things. Yeah. You did also find some comments about football, which are getting play. And unlike these other videos, that episode is still online?
Well, that's right.
Football?
Exactly, because this is from his podcast. There was a February 2023 episode of America Dissected podcast where El Sayed questioned whether there was any version of football that he said could be, quote, ethical or safe. And he linked the culture of the sport, which he did play growing up, to something much broader. He said narratives that had been historically used to justify slavery, westward expansion, and other forms of oppression. Listen to Amir.
You think about all the wars that we fight abroad, all of the sordid history of oppressing other people in the name of this American idea, right? Whether it was, quote, manifest destiny and destroying Native Americans, or it was the transatlantic slave trade where, you know, folks who, quote, founded this country on the backs of Native folks that they destroyed, then captured people, enslaved them, and had them work their fields because they thought it was their right, right? And all of this, like a lot of these narratives, you kind of see echoed in the ethos of football.
There's your Michigan Senate candidate. Football is now racist and represents enslaving people and the transatlantic slave trade and crushing indigenous peoples. And he hates the country, and he hates the founding fathers, and he hates our ideals, and he hates America. This is the guy they nominated for Michigan U.S. Senate, almost nominated that crackpot for Wisconsin governor, which I don't care about because that doesn't matter to me. I just wanted her to win because Tiffany would have waltzed in and DVO would have won that seat easy. But this stuff is not going away. The things that these people have said, they're not going away. You think Mike Rogers' team, who will have plenty of money, is not going to plaster that all over Facebook, all over social media, all over TV, all over everything. I mean, I'd be running this ad during a Vikings game. Speaking of the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be the savior of the Viking franchise. They got rid of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold won 15 games and they shipped him out, wouldn't give him a new contract, won the Super Bowl with Seattle because they thought J.J. was a new guy. And J.J. just got beat by the video game master, Kyler Murray, and didn't even get to a preseason game. And Coach Connell, or what's his name, Dan? Connell, right? Kevin Connell?
O'Connell, I think.
O'Connell. Yeah. Kevin O'Connell, great coach, made the decision in training camp. So that's how bad JJ was. The kid's a little punk. I've said that on Godzilla Wins from day one. He's a little punk. And that's why he got beat out by the video game master that doesn't go to the film room. Unbelievable. So this is mistakes that teams make, right? JJ, not even the starter. He's going the route of Will Levis. Remember him? Tennessee Titans quarterback, the savior. came in, had that one great game against Atlanta. Everybody said, oh, he's the guy. Tannehill, he's out, retires. Will Levis is the new guy. He got him from Kentucky. What a steal, right? We traded up for him. Came in against Atlanta, threw 4 touchdown passes. Yay. Not an NFL quarterback. These things happen. I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but I'd run these ads. Did I say Minnesota games? I'm sorry, I had that on my mind. I would run these during Lions games. I would run these ads. He hates football. You're going to get a Lions fan voting for this clown. So a lot of interesting things coming up, folks. And but look, the Democrats. This is a race we're going to be watching. DVO, Derek Van Orden. National Democrats got their pick to take on their top target, which is Derek Van Orden. Rebecca Cook winning the Democratic primary in Wisconsin District 3, setting up this high-stakes November battle. Van Orden won this by 3 points in 2024. But Van Orden's tough. Tiffany's going to get a lot of votes. I think Tiffany's going to win this race. So I like Tom here. And I think Van Orden squeaks in. But she's going to be a tough candidate. This is probably one of their best pickup opportunities, but they don't know Derek Van Orden like we do. So that's going to be their problem. Anybody else they'd probably beat. This guy's going to be very, very tough. Now, Cook fended off a communist primary challenge, which was former Eau Claire City Council President Emily Burge, who we were rooting for, because if we had a hung at the top of the ticket and DVO went up against Emily Burge, he'd win by 8. So now it's going to be a tough battle. 888-480, John, you want to weigh in? And we're looking for some new callers. If you haven't called in, we'd love to get you on. And listen, I know you've been listening to me in the morning a long time. Thank you. And many of you drink coffee. Thank you. I love coffee. I drink it all day long. That's just me. But let me tell you something. If you're not drinking 1775 coffee, you're depriving yourself of one of the better qualities of life. And I don't understand why we don't have more sales. They were talking to me the other day that, why don't you do this read in another time than 6? I'm like, no. So I know my 6 o'clock audience is drinking coffee. And why would they not buy this coffee? Because it's better and it's cheaper and it's great and it's fresh roasted from Bolivia. I'm going to have a sip of my 1775. Hang on, Dan. Damn. Dan, did I tell you that's great coffee?
I think you've mentioned it a time or two.
Smooth as a baby's butt. I love my dark roast. Hang on. I got up at 3:45 today. First sip I take, 6:43. That's 3 hours. I get all my stuff done, and then I come in and I'm like, okay, now I can reward myself with a cup of coffee with my 6 o'clock audience. Right? People say, why do you do 6? Just start at 7. I'm not going to abandon my 6 o'clock. I would never do that. Hang on. It gets better with every sip. Unbelievable. Best coffee ever. Dan, just go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla. Order yourself some K-Cups. Order yourself some beans. I like the dark roast and the premium. Some people like medium. I do drink a medium occasionally at the end of the day. Like if I have my 3 o'clock cup, occasionally I'll dump a medium in there. But I like my dark roast. I like my dark. So, and hey, we're looking for new callers. I know I love, the same 5 that call every day, but we'd like to open the phone lines up for somebody new. And let's do that with Rob Areno in Richmond, Virginia. Rob, you're live.
Hey, John. Mr. Abdul Syed had better freaking keep his daggone mouth shut about freaking slavery, because his people were enslaving people thousands of years before the Portuguese even began to explore the West African coast and a white person ever even set foot in Africa. They were freaking doing it. I mean, even the Bible records it into Egypt and even before that. And even today, they are still doing it in quiet and in secret, because when I was in Dubai, back in 2009, 2010, there was a story in the paper about a wealthy Emirati couple that had brought over an Indian girl to work as a nanny. They had taken her passport, and they had basically kept her enslaved in the house for 2 years until it was discovered. And amazingly enough, they've got a reasonably modern court over there. They convicted the couple and made them back pay her for all of her labor for over 2 years, got her passport back for her, and then freaking let her go home. So he didn't, he has no credibility of any kind. They can sit there and try to take and connect everything with racism and slavery, which is their big garbage grievance, when they had nothing to do with it and we had nothing to do with it, and try to shame Americans into, going along with their nonsense. But it ain't going to work because they just have no credibility.
I agree with you. And that's a good point that you're making, because the Arab people were enslaving others well before anybody discovered America. You got to go back to Egypt, right? I mean, how do you think they built the pyramids, right? How'd that happen? Just magic? That was like paid labor, shaping up every day to go move pyramids. No, those were slaves. And those were the Arabs had slaves. So you're right. What the hell is he talking about, Rob?
And, and granted, they weren't Muslim back then. I understand that. But it was the same people. Just because that, they converted to a new religion doesn't mean that they aren't the exact same people that were doing it way back then. And even the Quran says, hey, if they're non-Muslim, you can take them and capture them. You can either make them a slave, they can convert, or, you can kill them. So right. I don't want to hear anything from this guy.
That's right. Well, you're right. But, I hand it to at least some of the fake news media is at least getting out what this guy has said. He's so bad that they can't hide it. That's how bad he is. And playing something, and to play something you did 4 or 5 years ago, and then you're like AOC, and all of a sudden you have a memory loss, and it doesn't matter. And you say, "Oh, I said that. Oh, I changed. Oh, I said that. Oh, my views have matured and evolved." Right? Oh, I said cancel Thanksgiving. I didn't really mean that because I like to eat cranberry sauce. I mean, all of a sudden, what they said 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, these communists, all of a sudden, that doesn't matter. They changed their view, right? You really believe that?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rob. I'll give you the final word on that.
Yeah, nobody believes these people. They are duplicitous. They're disingenuous. They're just freaking flat out liars, and they're just lying to any left wing, hardcore. They can call themselves socialists all that they want. They can call themselves Democrat. You show me a democratic socialist, and I'll show you a closeted murderous communist.
Listen, no argument for me. Right here. No argument. Rob, thank you. Good call. Good call. Another communist that won in Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, delivered another win for the commies. Lieutenant Governor Penny Flanagan winning the Democrat primary in Minnesota for retiring Senator Tina Smith's seat. And she's going to go up against Michelle Tafoya, who, if you're a football fan, speaking of football, you know very well from being on the sidelines where they think ESPN forever. Really sharp young lady. I think she's going to run a great campaign. And that's going to be interesting. She took a sigh of relief. I'm going to be candid with you. Her campaign breathed a sigh of relief when Lindell didn't win that race. And he was ahead in the polls. But Minnesota Republicans didn't really think it was viable. So with Lindell at top of the ticket, and I said I was for him, but he couldn't win in November, but I didn't care. I was for him anyway. But if he was at the top of the ticket, Tafoya has zero chance of winning. Now, with their candidate at the top of the ticket, which is the former speaker, which is the Speaker of the House of Minnesota, Lisa DeMuth, she'll be running for governor. I tell you what, there's an outside shot here that Tafoya could make this a competitive race. The moderates tried to put up Angie Craig, who was a congresswoman, and the Flanagan hammered her on ice because she voted for the Lincoln Riley Act. That was her one issue, and she got hammered on it. And so Andrew Craig spent a lot of money, but and the Democrats felt the moderate, or they're not even moderate, the non-communist Democrats thought that Andrew Craig was a better candidate for them, and she got beat by Peggy Flanagan, who now, I'm telling you, is in a dogfight with Michelle Tafoya. I mean, Tafoya is a very articulate, very spirited, great candidate. I understand she's unbelievably disciplined. She spends a lot of time on social media. She's outreaching to everybody. I was getting emails from her for months. I still get them. I don't know how I got on her list, but she's going to be a tough candidate. And she also is passionate about what she says, and I think she connects. Like you do football for that long, you're going to connect. She's got a shot to connect here with Minnesotans. She's also charismatic, very charismatic. It's going to be a fun debate, and I wouldn't write that off. I mean, if I'm the Republican Senatorial Committee, I'm giving her money. She has money. I don't know where it came from. Ox would know. I think she's got family money, or maybe her husband, or she made a lot. But I know they're very well funded, and she's gonna turn this thing into a horse race. Just let me tell you, this is gonna be a horse race. So I wouldn't for a minute count her out. John Fredericks Media Network, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. What Flanagan did, the communist lieutenant governor, she cast her campaign as the many versus the money. See, this is what they're doing. It's highly effective. The many versus the money. And she got the grassroots anger at the establishment and all the PAC money, all the outside PAC money that came in for Andrew Craig, AIPAC and everything else. Now, the Republicans really believe they're going to make Minnesota competitive. They're going to make it competitive with Demuth, and they're going to make it competitive with Tafoya, and I wouldn't count Minnesota out. I wouldn't count it out. I think both of these races are going to be close, even though the Republicans have not won a Senate race in Minnesota, as I said, since 2022. So it's been quite a while. I can't get enough folks at the WNBA. The league is going to fold. It's a joke. We all know that. Dan, I sent you, yeah, you have that. I want to get to that Fever Coach clip. So I think I said this yesterday. I don't remember, Dan. I think I said it, but I was just beside myself. I think I did yesterday. I was beside myself with this Fever Coach, Stephanie White, basically throwing her own player under the bus and sticking up for the opponent. What's her name? Dijon, that could have broken Sophie's neck with that foul. She could have cracked her face open. She could have broke her neck. She could have put her in a coma. And she stood up for Dijon and not for her own player, Sophie Cunningham. This woman is a piece of crap. And if I had anything to do with this team, I'd have fired her. As soon as that press conference got out, I'd have been standing there saying, "You're fired. Clean your stuff on and get out of my sight. I'll make the assistant coach. I'll coach. I don't care. Get out of my sight." Of course, they didn't do that because they're all afraid now. See, it's all fear. Let's roll her. She gets into it again yesterday. This league is not about basketball now. It's all about the culture wars. It's all about politics, and it's going to fold. And good riddance. Roll it.
This is more for an online community that's trying to create narratives that simply don't exist. Trying to create a fabrication or distortion of who I am, of what I'm about. Our players' success, our players' health and wellness, our players' safety is always a top priority for me. One of the things I pride myself on is my relationships with players. For those who have anything to say about the play in the last game, I didn't see the play in real time. I went straight to a press conference. I thought the play got called right. Thankfully, Sophie's okay. Was it egregious? Absolutely. When you have a chance to watch that over and over and over on replay, you can see that. I didn't have that in real time.
Were there any
I take personally any suggestions that I don't 100% always have my players back. I ride with them 10 toes down all the time. All the time. They know that. It's a shame that we can't have an opportunity to talk about what great basketball they're playing. Because they are f***ing playing. The reality is, with me, I will always lead with love. I will always lead with grace. I will always lead with humility. And I will always lead with integrity. Doesn't mean I'll always get it right. I'm also human. The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win. It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line. Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win. Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
What a lying, I'm going to take the fine. What a lying piece of shit. Fine me. Okay, it's worth $100. Couldn't spend it saying a better thing. What a lying piece of turd crap. Okay, you threw your player under the bus. You're a piece of crap. You know what? Your star player in that press conference had to put her head in her hands. She couldn't believe what you were saying. And now you're talking about love and grace and online? You guys created this. We didn't create this. You did it. You stood up there and couldn't even define what a woman is. Then you threw your star player, one of your star players, under the bus who almost got killed. And now you're saying you didn't see the play? Well, what the hell are you doing sitting there on a bench? Playing tiddlywinks? What a piece of crap. This league is done. Who the hell is going to watch this? They're done. Stick a fork in them. And the NBA owners don't have the balls. Nobody's got any balls here. The woke mob is intimidating an entire league. And all the NBA and Adam Silver and the whole bunch of them, that little skinny pencil neck, bald-headed freak. You think David Stern would put up with this? You guys remember David Stern, commissioner of the NBA? Took the NBA over when it was tanking. I mean, you got to go back to the NBA. There was a seventh game, Boston, LA. Look it up. I don't know when it was, in the 70s or something. Boston Lakers. It wasn't even on national TV. It was on only Boston and LA TV. It wasn't even broadcast. That's how bad this league was. It was a joke. You think David Stern would do this? Look, you need a strong commissioner. And the NBA owners are they're phonies too. Nobody will step in here. You're worth billions of dollars, these franchises. I would step in and say, you know what? I got ownership in this team. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm putting it up for sale for $1. I'll buy it. I'm losing money anyway. They'll never make any money. What do you mean love and grace? You're the one doing this. You're the one who threw your player under the bus. A lying piece of crap. You know, I'm so sick of these people. And look, they're all intimidated. We're all intimidated. The woke mob is intimidating an entire franchise league and everybody around it. They're all afraid of a bunch of woke lesbos. You got to be kidding me. Grow a pair. John Fredericks Media Network. Take your calls when I get back.
Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Despite what the pollsters had predicted, the Democrat governor's primary in Wisconsin goes to the established-backed candidate, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, managing a narrow victory over Democratic Socialist challenger Francesca Hong, who had been far ahead in many of the polls. MyPillow founder Mike Lindell falling short in his bid for the Republican nod for governor in Minnesota. Lisa DeMuth won the GOP gubernatorial primary. Also in Minnesota, Democratic Progressive Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan won the Senate primary and will face off against Republican Michelle Tafoya in November. Senator Darlene Graham advances to a Republican primary runoff in South Carolina. She'll face longtime Congressman Ralph Norman in that special GOP Senate runoff in 2 weeks. President Trump now confirms it. For security reasons, he did indeed slip away from Air Force One following a recent NATO summit in Turkey.
I guess there was a threat out there. I didn't really ask too much about it. I get a lot of threats.
President Trump confirming a report that first appeared in the Washington Post that he was spirited off Air Force One and onto a different plane before departing Turkey last month because of a credible threat from Iran.
I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane.
Trump stowed away in an airport catering container that took him to a smaller aircraft on which he flew to the UK.
I do what they say.
There he secretly reboarded the decoy jet, then descended from it and climbed back aboard the new Air Force One gifted by Qatar. I'm Ben Thomas.
Wildfire in British Columbia, Western Canada, grew overnight. It's already forced about 20,000 people to flee their homes. On Wall Street, the Dow futures 61 points higher. NASDAQ futures are up 216 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
German lawmakers are looking to beef up and modernize the country's intelligence apparatus.
Germany wants to strengthen its intelligence services, long seen as bureaucratic and fragmented, after limits were put in place in the wake of the Second World War. Under the plans, which still need to be signed off by lawmakers, there'd be new conditional powers to hack, disrupt or even deceive hostile actors. There'd also be bolstered capabilities to counter drone threats. That's as the government's warned the country's a daily target of hybrid warfare, a term which can refer to disinformation, cyber attacks and sabotage.
And that's the BBC's Jessica Parker. As time goes by, the desperate search for survivors of the earthquake in Colombia takes on an added sense of urgency. Aid agencies consider the first 48 to 72 hours crucial for retrieving people alive, although the limit can be extended if they can access food and water. Townhall.com. If you're driving a new Camry hybrid, this one's for you.
Toyota's recalling about 655,000 Camry vehicles globally due to a display error that may deactivate safety indicators. Most of these cars were sold in the U.S., affecting over 508,000 model year 2025-2026 Camry hybrids. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the 7-inch display can become blank at startup, and that safety indicators like turn signals and hazard lights may also not function as a result. This increases crash risks. Toyota will notify owners to bring their vehicles to a dealer for a free software update. Keith Peters, Washington.
Used home sales tumbled last month, dropping 1.7% from June. Record high prices and high mortgage rates turned away a lot of would-be home buyers. The median sales price for a house, $434,100. More on these stories at townhall.com.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12% off.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man you want on that wall, the man you need on that wall, John Fredericks.
Well, it's great to have you with us. I'm John Fredericks, your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. It's always great to have you and your callers and my callers, 888-480-5646. You want to weigh in. We got Lane Parker coming up bottom of the hour, but really want to take your calls today. One of those days where, you know, we tend to book guests all the whole show, and we got to get your calls because we want to hear from you. So give us a holler, 888-480-JOHN. Tell us what's on your mind. No topic is off limits, 888-480-5646. If you're a prankster, then we're going to cut you off in like 8 seconds. So, you know, if you want to waste your time doing that, have at it. You know, we don't really care. I mean, we just don't care. This is a very carefree network, right? We just do our own thing. But let's get to the phone lines here in a second. But first, let's go. Tomorrow, Colonial Downs, baby. That's right. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 4 days of racing right through September 7th. Got it Thursday, got it Friday, got it Saturday, got it Sunday. Bring the family. Post time, 12:30. Parking, free. General admission, free. Get in, free. Food, great. Atmosphere, better. Track, gorgeous. Probably the most beautiful in America. Saratoga may be tied now because they had it refurbished. But it's just a beautiful racetrack. And it's a great experience for your kids. It's a beautiful day. You bring them out there, especially you got a little more time before school starts. So especially on a weekend, on a Sunday, you can get right up close to the horses. It's really a lot of fun. Have fun, win money. Got Rosie's slot machines downstairs. You got the sports book upstairs. You got OTB. I have so much fun there. That is our favorite place to go. And yes, we'll be there this weekend. Our horse, should we think, be racing next weekend, if memory serves me correct. We just got a lot going on right now, so I haven't talked to my trainer, but I think we were targeting for a race that he fits in the, I guess, this is the week of August 10th. I guess that would be the week of August 17th. And so we'll keep you posted on that. But in the meantime, it's a lot of fun. So just check it out. Go to colonialdowns.com, colonialdowns.com. It's a great experience. If you got us on any of the apps right now, you can just go to the QR code, get all the information there. But it's a great experience and a lot of fun and very inexpensive. And look, you bet a couple races, you win a couple races, you have some fun. The food there is great. That's one of the best things about it. It's great food and it's cheap. So you're really going to enjoy it with your family. Check it out. Go to colonialdowns.com. That's colonialdowns.com. And Nate Mize, their director, VP now of marketing, really put this together in a different way. It's just different. And I love what he's done there. And look, Aqueduct closed, and a lot of these tracks are closing, but not Colonial Downs. Dates are expanding. Racing is expanding. It's all expanding. Why? Because they get big handle. They get a lot of people out because it's great racing and it's great fun for the family. And you'll enjoy it. 20 minutes from Richmond, about an hour and 15 minutes from Virginia Beach, hour or so from the Norfolk area, right up 64. Parking, plenty of parking. Everything is free. Check it out, colonialdowns.com. Colonialdowns.com. And if my horse gets in next week, I'll let you know. Right? Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Tim Bo in Orlando, Florida, line 1. Tim, you're live.
John, you're on fire. You're on fire. You're exactly on point with this WNBA. Unfortunately, I don't watch it too much. I mean, I kind of watched it a little bit when the Caitlin or whatever her name is was shooting half court bombs and scoring 3-pointers from Iowa. So I mean that was kind of fun to watch. Because that takes a lot of talent. So you're right on point with that. I mean, the violence. You can't have it. They kind of had to calm down the NBA because of violence back 20 years ago. So yeah, I mean it's a game, it's a sport, and there's no room for it. You were on fire yesterday with ranked choice voting. I wanted to give you kudos.
Thank you.
You're a great debater. You really are. I mean, you're just a natural. You're a natural, and I'm not just saying that.
Thank you.
But you won me over. I was your biggest negative on ranked choice voting, but it finally hit, and I think it's going to be like that for people. In Florida, we have like 15 Republicans running for governor in the primary. How do you win that race? Without a ranked choice voting to help out.
Well, if you have ranked choice voting, Byron Donalds is going to be your nominee. Done. It's right. Like next step. I mean, it's just like, and it's amazing whenever their argument collapses in primaries, right? What do they go back to? Mm-hmm. Alaska. That's all they have. Well, Alaska, Murkowski. Well, that was ranked choice voting in a general election where it was a jungle primary, which we vehemently oppose. It's got nothing to do with that. Like, they don't even have their facts straight.
Yeah. And it's because we feel it's camel toes under the tent. We feel that ranked choice voting is a camel toes under the tent that'll go into the general election. No, completely different. You have a primary election, you have a general election. And if you have to spend all your money and all your ammunition and kill everybody in the primary, you have nothing for the general election. And the Democrats know that. Listen, the Democrats have figured out for the last 30 years how to take these key races, and for their network, their Act Blue, their whatever that organization is, they're funding all these smaller races, local races, local state races, and we're going to wake up in about 5 years and say, what the hell happened? Because we just got so desensitized. But anyway, congratulations. You're on fire. You won me over. I was your biggest advocate on this. I was so opposed to this, but I saw the light. Is it okay to say that?
Yes,
am I bad to say that?
No, you were my adversary. And look, there's still people that are on the chat that hate it because they don't understand it. It's just when you don't understand something and you've been brainwashed as it's bad, then it's very difficult. And the people that say, oh, it's for the rhinos, I mean, you just don't get it, right? Every primary now has 5 MAGA candidates and 1 moderate. Under ranked choice voting in a primary, the moderate will never, ever win. You will get the most conservative candidate because it's flipped. And so they want to go back to 10 years ago. We control the party. I mean, if you look at right now, if you look at South Carolina and that Senate primary, if there was ranked choice voting there, Ralph Norman is the nominee. Ralph Norman is the most conservative congressman in the friggin' House, okay? He is to the right of everybody. And he's a Freedom Caucus member. And I don't know Darlene from Adams Cat. I hope she's fine. I don't know. I think she's going to get beat. But this race would be over because all of those people that didn't vote for Darlene would have put Ralph Norman second, and he wins. This thing would be over, and he'd be the nominee, and he'd win. So it just goes on and on and on. Every example I give you, the MAGA candidate, the most conservative, would have been the nominee without spending any more money. Now we got to, I don't know when that runoff is for South Carolina, but it is going to be brutal. And for what purpose? For what? Spend all that money for nothing, And Norman is likely to win anyway. I mean, when you get 34% and you're endorsed by Trump and nobody knows you and you get 34%, and 66% of people in South Carolina in the Republican primary voted against you. That's not a good sign, dude. It's just not a good sign.
Yeah.
So that thing.
We've got 7 Republicans running for Congress in District 9. So each one of them are fighting just in the primary. We've got 5 in District 11 that are running Republicans, and we've got 11 Republicans running for governor. I mean, you can't do it without ranked choice voting. That's what hit the light with
now,
me.
Do you guys have
thank you.
Do you guys have a runoff there, or is it just like whoever wins?
Whoever wins. And I'm learning the process, John.
So here's the problem.
I'm volunteering. I'm learning.
Well, I know you want to get involved, so you got to learn. You got to get involved. Just like I'm involved here, just like I'm out, running for commissioner, ran for Ward 2 chairman. You got to learn the system. If you don't learn it, you're not in a position to leverage it because you don't understand it. So it takes work. But the problem in Florida now is when you've got 6 MAGA candidates and 1 moderate, the moderate can win with 22% of the vote. That's your problem. And this is what my base can't grasp because of Murkowski, because they don't understand it. And I respect them and I respect their opposition to it, but they just don't grasp where we are right now. And I'm not mad at them, and you can continue to, put caps on the Getter chat and blast me in caps, and I respect that. But I'm telling you, you just got to open your mind up. Until you live through this, you don't get it. You got to live through it like I did. Tim, thank you for the call. Thank you for saying that. And we'll look forward to getting you up here to Washington during the baseball season next spring and see a couple games. Go Terps, baby. Thanks, Tim. Tim Bow in Orlando. Let's go to Aloysius. Al in Tennessee. Al, you're live. Line 3.
Yes, I think every voter ought to question themselves when they go into the polls to vote. Do I really want to vote communist? Do I want my freedom? Is my freedom at stake with this person running? It may not be at stake right now, but it's going to build up to it. He's going to build up to it. That's his platform. And Does God want us to be enslaved under the burden of communism? Well, no. I say hell no. And you know what?
Al, you're right.
Trump needs to drop enough Moab bombs on Iran to send them back into the dark ages.
I'm with you on
and
that
then leave.
Now, we don't have a clear connection, so I'm going to let you go. But I agree with you on Iran. I think we need to take Carg Island, and Trump is saying the strait's open. That's fine, but just take it over. And then I don't care what they do. Who cares what they do? They don't get a bomb, and we're better off that now we control the straits, and they can never have this leverage again. And I think if Trump does that, he'll be rewarded in November. I mean, look, people are not stupid. Okay, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, period. Anybody with a brain in their head knows that. That's number one. Number two, you got to basically control the strait forever. And I'm not interested in some deal with Oman or something, because it always goes to crumble. First sign of trouble, they'll close it again and start shooting, slingshots at tankers. I mean, stop. We're done with this. Blow them up, blow them out of the ocean, blow them out of the water, destroy their infrastructure, bomb them back to the Stone Age, take Carg Island, be done with it. Tell them to have a nice day. Hope things work out. That's the way I think Trump needs to go. And Al, you're 100% correct. Line 2, Rob, New York. Rob, you're live.
Good morning, John. Great calls this morning. And, also interesting things with the election last night. But I want to shift gears away from the election for a moment. And I apologize if you talked about this the other day, but this is the thing that keeps bothering me because, I've some friends who got married young and they're now already becoming grandparents. And of course, through course of normal business and whatnot, I know people who are first starting with families. What Fauci did with that, with hiding that information that the booster could be a potential problem for women who were pregnant and that it could lead to miscarriages. I think that might be what ultimately sinks him. Not all the other lies, not the pleading the fifth, not all that other stuff, because that doesn't matter about your politics. When you start screwing with pregnant women and with couples and families trying to, start a family or expand their family, politics is irrelevant. You lie to these people. You use these women as guinea pigs. And two very loud voices are running with that, meaning that they're, talking about how it was outrageous. One is Meghan McCain and the other is Bill Ackman. And I don't really care what anybody thinks about either one of them, because I'm sure there are plenty of people that don't like Meghan, they don't like Bill. I don't care. Those two have very powerful megaphones and platforms. You don't want to have them talking about this. And the Daily Mail, UK Daily Mail, had a great story on this yesterday. I mean, Meghan McCain is calling for him to be locked up. I mean, this has gone too far with what they did with COVID. We all know all the other crazy things.
Hang on. Let's run number 6. Here's Ron Johnson saying the same thing, Senator of Wisconsin, saying the same thing that Rob from New York is. Go ahead, roll it. Take a listen.
Destroy this country. So no, it's, John, I'm sure you as frustrated as I am. We uncover the truth, and nobody reports on it. It's not a big news story. So they turn the Russian collusion hoax into a massive news story. They allow the Mueller investigation to go through. They create this turmoil in our political system that is still roiling this country years later, and they never admit to it. So unfortunately, we're always on the defense when it comes to the media. They're always on the offense. The Democrats are always on the offense. So literally, until we have more honest media, and I'm not holding my breath, the good news is we have alternate source of media now. People are tuning out the major broadcast stations as well as major newspapers. They're getting the news elsewhere. But again, it's just bifurcating what people get, which is why you have Republicans asking Anthony Fauci tough questions and the Democrats singing their praises. You have the Republicans showing up for a hearing on election fraud and on welfare fraud, and and you have Democrats just boycotting the hearing. So again, we've got a massive political divide in this country, and it really is. I think the media is largely responsible for it because they have not been honest for decades. They've taken one side only, and that's just been exacerbated then as our politics move forward.
Yeah, so important. Maybe one day someone will think of using a fraud statute and look at some of these media who said they've been reporting the truth and prove that they aren't and that it's a fraudulent business transaction. We'll have to wait and see. But, Senator, one thing we do know, time in and time again, you got the Americans' facts. In fact, facts that most bureaucrats didn't want out. For that, we're forever grateful. Thanks.
So, Rob, the media is hiding this. So to your point, though, when you start messing with pregnant women, when you look at these texts and when you look at these texts he sent, I mean, it's stunning. When you get his text list, it's stunning of how this guy lied and put people at risk to create a narrative in order to control people. It was unbelievable, Rob.
It's sick. And, and during COVID, I mean, my wife and I weren't interested in having any more kids because, for a variety of reasons, but she was forced because she worked in the school, still does. She was forced to take the vax, both the first two, or you can't come back to work, you're fired. So she took them. And I know this may border a little bit of too much information, but after the second vax, she started menstruating multiple times a month. Now, again, we weren't looking to have kids, so okay. But if I were a woman, I'd find that really annoying. Instead of getting, the monthly period, you're getting multiple ones a month. And that went on for a while. No explanation.
What the doctor
Well, we know what the explanation. I don't know. We don't know. Well, of course you don't know. You don't want to. You do know. You don't want to talk about it because that mRNA, which is some of the things that some of the doctors you've had on your show and then who were on War Room, like McCulloch and Malone and others. You start messing around with those proteins. You had all sorts of weird responses. This thing was rushed out, and I get it. People want to dunk on Trump because Trump was supportive of it. We know he had no choice because if he didn't push for that vaccine, we would have still been locked down probably. Okay, that was the lever. But the key is that Donald Trump never made it mandatory. If you want it, it's there. If you're afraid of the virus, it's there. But he never forced anyone to take it. That's the difference. These tyrants that run around screaming about how they're pro-democracy, like what you were, I think it was you talking before in the first hour about how, it was Dan talking about it before you came on the air, talking about, the term of democracy. People don't even know what the hell that means. And if you really understand democracy, you should be happy as a pig and you know what, that we don't live in a pure democracy, because we would have these nuts in charge with on a popular vote system. Our founding fathers and framers of the Constitution were brilliant. They understood the problems of a pure democracy.
Right. No, you're right.
You're right. It makes me sick, John.
What you're saying with pure democracy is what's going on in the WNBA. Mob rule and fear. That's it. So long as we allow this to happen, we were just corralled like sheep. And I've asked this question on the air, 100 times, Dan. If they do it again, are we going to cave again? Are we going to fear and cower and go in our homes and shut the door and not go to church and not go to school and not do anything because the government says, somebody might get sick? Are we going to do this again? The pure deaths from COVID, and many people died, so it's not a joke, but the pure deaths equal that of any severe flu season. Equal. I think it was Sweden, did nothing. Was it Sweden? Yeah, they did nothing. Didn't cancel school, didn't cancel soccer, didn't cancel sports, didn't cancel concerts. They did nothing. They wanted natural immunity. Only thing they did was quarantine old people in old people's homes because they were the most vulnerable. When you look at their COVID results, who got sick, who died, they were right in the middle of any country. Did a study at 100 countries, they were 50. They were right in the middle, right the average. So, and they did nothing. No masks, no vax, zero, like it didn't exist. And yes, some people got sick, like they do with the flu, and it was very vulnerable for older people. But they did nothing, and nothing happened to them. Nothing. Like I say to Pasqua in West Virginia and Brendan, 0 times 0 is 0. Elaine Parker next. Oh, guess what? Fox News got thrown out of Francesca Hong's watch party. Out! TV for stupid people. Couldn't even get in there. We'll be right back.
On a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds. 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cell's Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
The Trump administration has brought positive changes when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. If we really want to make America healthy again, well, that starts at home. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from the Wellness Company doctors all the time, and you know their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy, giving you the opportunity to make sure you're prepared for whatever happens with their prescription medical kits. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products, from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part and protect the health of you and your family. Live a healthier, longer, and more satisfying life. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and order. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Use promo code Godzilla to save 10% today.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
People are out there saying, oh, the Iranians are never going to live by it. But let me tell you something. President Trump is going to bomb them again if they screw around.
Hopefully they live up to it. And if not, the pounding's coming. We're going to do it again and again and again.
The Cats and Cosby Show, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Trump is the toughest president we ever had.
Well, he's definitely the best bomber.
Every morning, your Godzilla of Truth sets the table with the day's news. Starting August 17th at 10, Wendy Bell goes live with reaction and her own fiery fabulosity.
And I want MAGA to grow a wave of red, the likes of which you've never seen.
August 17th.
You're on the cusp of a golden age.
Wendy Bell, are you ready to go? Weekdays 10 to noon on the John Fredericks Media Network.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Godzilla Wins, where you get the best insight and best information on how to win the most money ever.
Guess what? GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners. You heard GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great zombie. And
he's your Godzilla of the truth in America.
It's Godzilla!
No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
Oh, it's great to have you back in the John Fredericks Media Network and all the John Fredericks radio apps. Thank you for being with us. Elaine Parker coming up momentarily, Job Creators Network. Don't forget, go to Godzilla Wins, GodzillaWins.com every day. Dan, I'm hot, Dan. I tell you what, I told my audience, when I get on a roll like this, just follow. When I go cold, fade. And I go hot and cold. Very rarely do I go weeks at 500. And right now, I'm on a roll. I was 5-2 again last night. I mean, rarely do I bet 7 baseball games, but like
En fuego.
You know, normally I bet 1 or 2, but there's just strength in numbers. So I have one. I was 5-2 last night. I was what was I? I was 15 for 18, which makes me something like
Holy cow.
20 for 25. 20 and 5 over the last 2 weeks. I mean,
that's
I'm
wild.
On fire.
That's wild. Oh my God.
Wild. Yep. Wild.
And you said baseball is not nearly as easy to predict or bet as something like hockey.
Baseball's the toughest sport.
Yeah.
It's every day. There's too many games. The lines are tough. There's no dime line anymore. You got a 30-cent line. Favors the book. It's going to grind you out. So in order to win, you basically have to be, you know, it's not like in football you can win at 53, 54% because you're laying a dime line. In baseball, you really got to be you got to be in the high 50s in order to even break even, because you're when you're betting the underdog, you're getting plus 130. When you're betting the favorite, you're laying 170. I'm just giving you an example. So it's the disparity is going to just grind you into the turf. And if you bet pitchers, forget it. You will lose, right? You can't do that because the lines change and it doesn't work. Only way I bet is I bet streaks. If a team is losing, I'll fade them. If a team is winning, I'll bet them.
Well, may I submit to you Exhibit A of the Pittsburgh Pirates? You to bet against them, you're going to make money.
Not that much. I mean, they're playing 500 ball. I'm not going to make any money betting against the Pirates.
I think they've lost like 9 of the last 12.
Yeah, they're
like
starting to lose. And I bet against Miami every day when they lost 9 in a row.
Right. And
now they're winning. I didn't bet the game last night, but you got to have a feel. You got to have a feel for this stuff. Like the Oakland A's have packed it in. They're racked with injuries. They're going to Vegas. They fired their general manager. He was there 2 decades. The team is done. It's basically a AAA team. They can't win at home, and they're
not even playing it real home. I mean, it's crazy. You check the scores. It doesn't even say the name of a city anymore. It just says A's.
Here's the thing about Tampa. Okay, Kevin Cash is one of the best managers in baseball, and what Tampa does is they make a living beating up on bad teams. They've done this forever. Like they just, they'll get beat by the Yankees and stuff with Boston, but when they play Oakland and they play Colorado, the bottom feeders, they just clean up. And so I've been betting them every day. And Seattle's losing every day. Bet against them again. Lost again. Yankees beat them. Seattle's done. So you just try to fade the teams that are just not doing well.
It reminds me of that Moore clip we play. The good teams beat bad teams. That's what good teams do. They beat bad teams. Not the woulda, coulda, shoulda. They do it.
Well, not always. I mean,
not always, but
it's not always, right? I mean, I bet Texas last night. That was one of my losers because you can't bet the Angels. You're just betting against them every single game. They're done. So I think they won 3-2. But it was 5-2. So I mean, there's only 2 types of tickets: the one you cash and the one you throw in the garbage. That's it. 2 kinds. 888-480-JOHN. Okay, we're going to get to Elaine here in a moment. She's not involved in GodzillaWins.com in any way, shape, or fashion. So we don't want to taint her with that. Anyway, go to GodzillawInns.com. I get my picks up. Normally I get them up earlier, but they've been getting up at 6 o'clock because I don't have time during the day, and I got to start studying at like 4:30, and I don't get them up till 6, but look for them about 6 during the week. Weekend's different. Okay, Fox News gets kicked out of Hong's election night watch party. Even TV for Stupid People couldn't make it with Francesca Hong. Roll it.
We're hoping to do this live shot from inside the Hong campaign headquarters watch party. We arrived with our confirmation materials, all the registration that we needed, front of the line. We were told because of capacity that they had the discretion to turn some away. It appears Fox News was the only media outlet turned away, but we can report from out here.
They kicked them out. Too funny. Joining us now, Elaine Parker. She is Chief Communications President of Job Creators Network. Go to joinjcn.com, joinjcn.com. Elaine, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, John.
Hey, Elaine, so talk about the jobs report. We lost 21,000 jobs, kind of a downer. Everybody thought we'd do better, but administration said 50,000 jobs were lost out of the public sector. We actually gained 30,000 in the private sector, but it's still not a good sign no matter how you spin that. And is the economy that was so hot, we were so focused on it, so excited, is it starting to cool due to the war?
Yeah, not a great jobs report to look at when you see negative 23,000 jobs losses. But we do have historic unemployment. You could call it full employment. And it is true that we do continue to see these unproductive government jobs, which carried much of the Biden administration for the 4 years that Joe Biden was in office, continue to be shed every month. So you could say, yes, that private sector jobs were in the pot. But what it should actually do is take any kind of talk of rate hikes. And as we start to see these gas moderate a little bit, I did pay under $4 a gallon yesterday, so I was happy to see that. But if this war can get over with, we can get gas prices down, we could actually probably start talking. That would be great. But right now I'm happy to just see a rate hike being taken off the table.
What was driving the talk of Warsh having a rate hike? What was driving that?
I don't think Warsh ever wanted to have a rate hike. I don't think that's been in the cards for him. Obviously, it's been a wait and see, and the war has put us in kind of a zigzag motion with inflation up, inflation down, gas prices up, gas prices down, driven primarily by energy prices. And, unfortunately, this war has dragged on a lot longer than the president probably anticipated. And hopefully we can, the gas prices come down. One of the bright driving, doing very well, the price policy, seeing more and more investment from manufacturers in the country. We've got over 100 companies that have made reshoring investments. More than $1 trillion so far has been made. Apple has driven a lot of it too, $600 billion investment. And so while the jobs aren't materializing right now, they will follow. Jobs do follow investment. So we've got a great pipeline of things happening, but we've got to be patient, and obviously the Iran war has got to end.
Let me ask you this. There's a lot of talk now about taxing the rich, and the rich aren't paying their fair share. Now we're back to that. It seems like about every 2-3 cycles this comes up again, and the answer is just taking money. But now it's gone from taxing the rich and have a higher tax rate. Now it's gone to confiscating their property. It's gone to confiscating wealth. I mean, it's kind of unbelievable how this tide is turning out. I wanted to get to Charles Payne here, cut 7, kind of laying this out and how ridiculous this is. Take a listen.
You bet.
Sandra.
It's been a long, hot summer, hasn't it, John? Let's bring in Charles Payne now, host of Making Money on Fox Business. You can never rest because you got to help people make money and help this country make money. And, we point out when you hear the DSA socialists say, tax the rich, tax the wealthy. Well, they're already doing that. I mean, put CF2, guys. Taxes paid by the top 1% of earners. Federal taxes.
Right.
Is a massive number, okay? You're at 38+% of all federal individual income taxes paid by the 1% of the earners. So the revenue is coming in from these folks.
Right.
It's the spending problem that's not being addressed. Yet these DSA socialists are saying, we're still coming for you.
Yeah, and by the way, next to that, we should also put what their income is. So if your income is like 22, 23%, but you're paying almost 40%, that's more than your fair share. Right. So, I mean, that argument on its face is just ridiculous. It's always been ridiculous. And by the way, whenever you ask what is fair share, you haven't gotten a straight answer for 20 years, from when Obama used it to when now these socialists are using it. So what is it they really want, Sandra? Because I just can't. I know that these are people who have some, a lot of them are educated to the point where at least they can do math.
Yeah.
You can't tax us out of this situation. And it's not just that. I think it's all a ruse. I think the economic part of it, the taxing part of it, for the most part, they simply do not like America. They don't like what America stands for, and they want to disintegrate it. Nikita Khrushchev gave a very important speech years ago, and he made a point that communism will win in America without firing a shot. And what he meant was these sort of entities, these sort of organizations would take time, but they would permeate. They would be allowed to grow. They would be allowed to fester, and they would be allowed to grow in power and stature to the point where they could change the laws, change the rules, in effect, change what America is. That's what he meant by communism winning in the end without firing a shot. It's folks like these who are now taking the next step toward that goal.
So Hong took a question. This is Kenosha, Wisconsin.
What is your reaction to this, Elaine Parker?
Well, look, we need only to look to places like where the DSA has won, like in New York City, and what's happening there in terms of going after, quote, the rich. Look, the reality is these are easy talking points, and they're populist talking points. Let's tax the rich and make them the bad guys instead of looking at how our economy works. I was very flattered this week to see that the Florida Chamber followed in our footsteps and put up a billboard in Times Square, exactly where Job Creators Network has continued for the last 10 years, putting up billboards, naming Mondami Florida Developer of the Year because he continues to drive wealth and success out of his city, and his types of policies, while they are spreading in very blue cities across the country, those same cities are going to see that wealth and success driven out as well. And states like Florida, Texas, Georgia will welcome them.
That billboard, Dan, I had the clip earlier. I forgot to put it, Dan, in the rundown. See if you can find that. But the Florida billboard, Elaine, just tell everybody before we get to the clip what it actually said.
Said that Florida Chamber was naming Mondami Florida Economic Developer of the Year.
Mondami's as the Economic Developer of the Year, because with all his taxes, everybody's leaving, escaping from New York and going to Florida. Kind of an interesting thing. But yeah,
our first billboard. Remember, our first billboard, John, was one we put up about AOC. When she drove 25,000 jobs, when Amazon was trying to bring 25,000 jobs to New York that were going to pay six figures. And she didn't seem to understand what a tax incentive was. She thought that the state of New York was going to be paying in cash Amazon $3 billion to bring these jobs. And so she boycotted them. And she successfully boycotted 25,000 good paying jobs in her city and actually lived to tell about it, frankly. I mean, she didn't get voted out as a result because that is what has happened in New York, in the state of New York. And, it's very left leaning. And, it's interesting. I was talking with some friends about her shift that we were seeing to the center. And it almost looks like she's following that Obama playbook. When you look at the bench that's forming on the Democratic side, you've got Kamala Harris leading, but they already didn't want her. And no matter how much she tries to pander to the left, they are still not going to want her. Newsom is trying the same thing. Pete Buttigieg, I just don't think he's going to make it either. They want true hardcore DSA. She fits that bill, but she's making a pivot. And the question is she going to primary Schumer when he is up for re-election, or is the Democratic Party going to force hire the governor, appoint her into that spot so that then she can actually follow the Obama playbook and then run for president? Because there really is no true progressive that the far left is going to want other than her on that bench. And so I really think she's going to run in 28.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I think she's going to be the nominee. We have said that on this show now for 3 months. She is going to be the nominee. And
it's just what's your path going to be? Is it going to be through the Senate or straight from the House?
It's I don't think she'll run. I think if Schumer doesn't retire, why run and go to the Senate when you can run for president, be the nominee of the party and take it over? I mean, it's like crazy. I mean, there's nobody who's going to beat her. Newsom, like Kamala Harris. I mean, and when you saw her this weekend, she hasn't done a Sunday show in 2.5 years. She's out there. She was very calm. You know, she did it was all softball questions by the NBC guy. It was all, hit it off the tee. She was very measured. She's moderate. She called it, that was woke 1.0. I really understand back then. I've changed my position. It's exactly that. She's going to make you think she's reasonable, but she's a hardcore communist, and they're going to try to do the same thing. Is it going to work this time? No. But I've been saying this now for a week. The communists the communists don't care. They've written off 26. They're going to lose. They've written off 28. They're going to lose that. In order for them to take the party over, they have to get all their people in, and the Democratic Party has to lose. If the Democrats' party is winning, you can't take it over. If Romney was president, there is no way MAGA takes over the party. There's no Trump. If Romney had won or McCain had won, we lose. MAGA loses. It would have never taken the party over. In order for it to take it over, McCain had to get beat, and then Romney had to get beat, and then we were looking for something different, and that was the opening, and the populists came in and nominated Trump, who I was there at the beginning, and took the party over. Communists are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm in full agreement with you. AOC is going to run. She's going to be the nominee. She is going to tack to the center. She already does it in her positioning. You're right. She's backtracked on a lot of her positions. She's much more calm. She has a much more likable demeanor in terms of how she presents her arguments. But she's still on stage with those far left candidates. She's still going and endorsing those far left candidates. I think Francesca Hong was just a bridge too far. But I also think they saw the writing on the wall that she couldn't win. So why waste their credibility there? But she's definitely going to run. She's getting news on being sort of a regular person. This week she froze her eggs, and that made a lot of news, and why she was freezing her eggs and making, why do we care what she's doing in her personal life in those terms? And the funny thing is that she was telling people that it cost $8,000 and it wasn't covered by her fantastic insurance and she told us that she spent years, John, saving up $8,000. And yet nobody asks her about her Netflix documentary where she was paid millions for that. She gets almost $200,000 a year in a salary from Congress, probably the best gold-plated health insurance plan anybody in this country has. And she's complaining that she has spent years saving $8,000 to freeze her eggs. We're not buying it, sister.
No, she's got a net worth of $30-something million. She came in, She didn't have money to pay her rent. She said, I can't get an apartment until I get my first federal paycheck. She had no money. 8 years later, or 12, 10, or whatever it's been, she's worth 30-something, $7 million. I mean, come on, man. They think we're stupid.
It's weird how that happens. It's weird how that happens.
You make $200,000. You have no money coming in. You have to have two homes, one in the Bronx, wherever she is, the other one in D.C. And in a 6-year period, you accumulate 0 to 35 million. How the hell's that happen? I guess, she must have had the same cattle future advisor that, Hillary did. I guess it's made on cattle future. I don't know. It's crazy. Nuts. But yeah, you're right. She's going to be the nominee and she's going to win states. I mean, she's going to win a bunch of states. I think personally, I think Rubio is going to be the nominee on our side. And I think he wins handily, but she's going to win states and they're going to take the party over. And when this thing's done and she goes down in flames, the communists will be in control of the Democratic Party as we know it. By 2032, there will be a communist presidential candidate. That is a communist, not her trying to be something else. It'll be a Hong. It'll be something of that nature, or an Al-Sayed or something. If they were naturalized or born here, whatever it is, there'll be a communist candidate because they're going to take over the party. And then America's going to have to choose, really choose. And that's, I believe, going to be 2032.
I think she's going to be hard. I think she's going to be harder to beat than you think, John. I do. She's got the entire press behind her, and they will turn her into what she needs to be in terms of winning over, more moderate Democrats, and they will get behind her. I think. I hope Rubio's the nominee. I think that you might be right there. He's doing a fantastic job. He's obviously become much more popular than he was when he ran last time. So, I actually think that'd be a great matchup. He'd be excellent to run against her. He'd be an excellent person to run against her.
Well, she's not going to win Pennsylvania. She's not going to win Ohio. She's not going to win Michigan. She's not going to win Arizona, and she's not going to win Nevada. So I don't know where the electoral math is. She's not going to win any of those states, but she's going to win the traditional blue states, and it's going to be a race. And the media will go all in on her because they want to destroy America and have a communist system, which is what she will usher in. Elaine Parker, good to have you with us. Follow Elaine and sign up at Job Creators Network. If you're a small business, only one place to go, Job Creators Network. Go to joinjcn.com, joinjcn.com. Elaine, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, John.
Your calls when I get back, 888-480-JOHN.
WJFN W224EB 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB 107.7 Bonaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFB Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Although she led in the polls and by a wide margin in some of them, a Democratic Socialist has lost a gubernatorial primary.
Democrat David Crowley has won the primary for governor in Wisconsin, beating Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong, who was hoping to ride the wave of recent victories by progressive candidates.
I am so deeply, deeply grateful to my core for how hard you have all fought.
Audio courtesy of WISN. Crowley is vying to become Wisconsin's first black governor, and in November he'll face Republican Tom Tiffany, currently a U.S. representative endorsed by President Trump. I'm Donna Warder.
In Minnesota, Democratic Progressive Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan wins Senate primary, will face off against Republican Michelle Tafoya in November. Lisa DeMuth won the GOP gubernatorial primary for governor in Minnesota, beating Mike Lindell, who had been endorsed by President Trump. Darlene Graham has advanced to a Republican primary runoff in South Carolina. Appointed by President Trump to fill out the term of her late brother, Senator Lindsey Graham, Darlene Graham will face Congressman Ralph Norman in that special GOP Senate runoff in 2 weeks. President Trump confirms he did slip away from Air Force One following a trip last month to a NATO summit in Turkey.
I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety, but they wanted me to do it, so I do it. I do what they say.
The diversion was a result of a threat by Iran. The president says that such threats don't really bother him. In his words, I get a lot of threats. By the way, Mr. Trump insisting the U.S. is in control of the Strait of Hormuz, regardless of what Iran may claim. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures 95 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Are you carrying more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Do you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill, making payment after payment, month after month, yet never getting ahead? If you're tired of watching your hard-earned money disappear into interest charges, there may be options available to help you take back control of your finances. At Total Financial Freedom, they'll show you what qualified consumers may be able to save through programs designed to help them resolve debt faster than making minimum payments alone. The consultation is free, confidential, and comes with absolutely no obligation. Why spend years, sometimes decades, paying thousands in interest when there may be a better path forward? Total Financial Freedom is a Christian-owned company that has helped thousands of Americans pursue financial freedom for nearly 20 years and is proudly A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now and ask how you can receive a complimentary copy of The Debt Dietitian. Stop running in place. Start moving toward financial freedom at 866-844-7344. 866-844-7344.
At least one person has died in a ferry fire in Indonesia.
Crews rescue over 170 people and recover the body of one passenger from a ferry that caught fire in rough seas Wednesday near the Indonesian tourist island of Bali. The Putri Yasmin ferry was travelling from Padang Bao port in Bali to Lembah on the neighbouring island of Lombok, according to a search and rescue agency. Officials had received an emergency report half an hour later and immediately deployed rescue vessels. Initial reports had the ferry carrying 131 people, but officials later said more people were aboard than listed. It's common in Indonesia for the number of passengers on board a boat or ferry to differ from the manifest. The ferry was also transporting 44 vehicles and over 50 motorcycles. I'm Charles Philadelphia.
South Korea says North Korea has launched a ballistic missile toward the sea, the second such weapons test by the North in under a week. News and analysis, townhall.com. 4 youngsters among 6 people killed in a domestic incident in south-central Kansas.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation has been called into a tragic crime scene in Winfield, Kansas. Robbie DeLong is the Winfield chief of police.
Our officers received a 911 call from a male individual who stated that he had killed his entire family and he was getting ready to kill himself.
He says officers breached the home to find 6 people dead, including the suspect, 53-year-old Ronald Williams Sr., Kelly George, 44, and their 4 children, ages 9 to 3. Neighbors had reported incidents with the father in this case. Jason Diaz is the KBI special agent in charge at the scene.
It was a family, a single family in there with a mom and dad.
Audio courtesy KAKE. I'm Jennifer King.
Toyota is recalling hundreds of thousands of Camrys. A display error may deactivate turn signals as well as other indicators in those vehicles. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Trouble concentrating or recalling information is frustrating, embarrassing, and kills productivity. Nutrition company Healthy Cell created Focus and Recall to boost your brain power. Unlike other supplements that don't work, Focus and Recall is not a pill. It's a gel you swallow with ultra absorption of science-backed ingredients to help you immediately sharpen focus, concentrate longer, and strengthen recall. Go to healthycell.com and use code Godzilla for 20% off your first order. Risk-free. Love it or your money back. Guaranteed. Healthycell.com. Code Godzilla.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Godzilla Wins, where you get the best insight and best information on how to win the most money ever.
Guess what? GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
You heard the man. The all-new GodzillaWins.com is all about winners, with fresh daily picks by J-Fred and your favorite players from the Godzilla Wins team. Get your hot takes from the show, then click the website for the dough. GodzillaWins.com.
GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
Are we 10-0?
You are 10-0 for the first time in program history, Coach.
Not bad. There's a lot of skeptics. There's a lot of doubters. I get it, right? Haven't beat a top 25 team. Nebraska's 25th in the coaches poll. We beat their 56-7.
How are we not right now seeded for a home game?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me. 126 years of Indiana football. Best season in Indiana history. Number one out of 126. We got our way of doing things, and, we kick ass and take names. We figured we'd just adopt SEC scheduling philosophy. Some people don't like it. I'm more focused in on those 9 conference games. we had to wake some people up and create some excitement. And after all, this is the entertainment business, too.
We don't just beat top 25 teams, we beat the shit out of them.
I know you guys have been waiting for me to say something crazy. That wasn't quite crazy.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's The John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who plays to win the game, John Fredericks.
You're on the John Fredericks Media Network and all the John Fredericks radio apps, and I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables, coming alive from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., the cleanest, most beautiful, safest city in America. Thanks to President Donald J. Trump. I live here, Ward 2 chairman, I can tell you that, also running for commissioner. And I got Jim Pfaff coming up, so we're going to be telling you about all the good things happening. Jim Pfaff next, and what's this? What is this you're saying here? Oops, season 128, Jim. Okay, whatever. You guys are still talking about Indiana and Signetti.
We're trying to figure out however many Indiana football seasons there have been, and based on that clip with Signetti, it's like one out of whatever. We're not bad.
And you add one, it's 128.
That's right. I'm terrible at math. I'm horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just get an abacus, Danny Boy, and you're good to go. That's right. That's all you need. There's a little abacus. We got Jim Pfaff coming up. We got some announcements to make, and then Dan, have you gone on to lean yet? Because I'm really feeling good. I lost 3 pounds in 3 weeks. Now I don't get on the scale every day because that's counterproductive. But I can't wait till I get on Monday. I think I'm going to lose another pound. I feel like I have. Doesn't always work out, but if you're serious, Dan, about losing weight, or anybody listening to me right now, male or female, and you don't want to take the shot, you don't want to spend the money for GLP, and you don't want to do the blood sugar spike and all the things that I don't like to do. And if you're looking for a natural supplement to lose weight, I'm not talking about 2 pounds for a wedding. I'm talking about serious weight. Like I'm 242. I want to get down to 220. That's 22 pounds, right? So I already lost 3. I was 25. Now I got 22 to go. How do I do it? Lean is helping me. All I do, I get up in the morning. Among the other things I take, I get my lean out. I open the jar. I take 3 of the capsules with a full glass of water. That's the key. Full glass of water, not like a sip, a full glass. Down that, do that before my coffee. And here's what it does. Here's what lean does. It's going to curb your appetite. So the little hunger pangs you get, like let me have a snack, let me have this, let me have a chip, no, gone. Second thing is it burns fat. Third thing is gives you energy. So you get more energy. It's all natural. And you got to be a little more active. So, look, I went for a little walk last night. Like, I don't have time to go jogging or go to the gym. I don't have time for that. I get up at 3:45. I don't have time for that, right? But I'll take a little walk, 15 minutes. That's it. Me and Ann. Now we can walk now because DC's safe. So we took a little walk. Of course, we made a stop at the bar and had a cocktail. So that was probably counterproductive. But we did take a walk. Forget the cocktail. It's all good. Anyway, look. Lean is the way to go. Now, you don't have to quit drinking, but you can't drink yourself into oblivion either, right? Because, alcohol is going to put on weight, but you got to do everything in moderation. But if you take lean, this thing is go on the journey with me, 3 pounds, 3 weeks. Tina has lost 5 pounds in 4 weeks. So she's a little bit ahead of me, and she's lighter than I am. Obviously, heavier, it's easier to lose. Just go to takelean.com. TakeLean.com. Give it a shot today. Promo code Godzilla. They call me up. Tell me how you're doing. And if you want to get on the air, like, Dan's going to get on the air when he takes it, just go to TakeLean.com. TakeLean.com. Promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. Start the journey now. Feel better. Why deprive yourself, right? You think about yourself 10 pounds or 15 pounds lighter than you are now, 10 or 15 pounds. Think about that. Think about how you look, how you'd feel, right? You feel a lot better. You look better. And, the thing about lean is, and me doing this, I can't lie. I'm on TV. If I'm not losing a weight, you're going to know it. You're going to say, well, John, you don't look any different. Right? It's all good. Okay, a couple of announcements. TakeLean.com, promo code Godzilla, 20% off. Do it today, don't delay. Start now. Don't wait. It's all good. Now, couple of announcements. Our new sports show, Game on America Sports, every weekday night on the John Fredericks Media Network and all the TV channels, 6 to 7 p.m., hosted by Frank Zaccanelli. I get to go on there on Thursdays when it's college football day, so that's coming up, but you don't want to miss that. Frank is tearing it up. Go to Game on America Sports on our network, 6 to 7 p.m. We're going to give you the best information, the best insight, the best knowledge about what you're doing. Whether you gamble or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to get sports information nobody else has. We got the inside track. We got it all. 6 to 7 p.m., Frank Zaccanelli, Game on America Sports. Miss a day, you miss a lot. Shows have been fantastic. He's doing great. So that's number one. Number two, Monday, Wendy Bell Live. Boom. John Fredericks Media Network. Lace them up and lace them tight. Wendy Bell is coming back to radio on our network. It's going to be 10 to noon starting on Monday. Wendy Bell Live, going to rock your world right after me. Can't wait. She starts on Monday. Michael Patrick Leahy moving from his slot right now, 10 to noon. He'll be going from 3 to 5 Eastern. Of course, he's based in Nashville. Wendy based in Pittsburgh. So obviously we've got our host where we have a lot of stations. So, that's kind of the plan. You guys can probably figure it out. Lay in Nashville. Also, we got another Nashville station coming online in September, and that's going to be WAKM AM 950. That is waiting approval by the FCC, hopefully the first week in September. That'll be online. We'll be carrying Titans. We'll be carrying Tennessee Volunteers. And also we'll be picking up WAKM. No, I'm sorry. What is that, Dan and Hope? Well, I forget. WHAP? Yeah, WHAP. I think that's AM 1340 and 99.6 FM. We'll be picking that up, I think, Monday as well. So a lot of expansion. We keep going on. We'll also be picking the Capitals up there, the Washington Caps, in, I guess, October when hockey starts. So it's all good. Lots of announcements. I like to keep you guys up to date and know what's going on. Don't forget, follow me on social media at JF Radio Show, at JF Radio Show. And you, my friends, are good to go. Okay, let's bring in Jimmy Pfaff. Jim is the president, chairman of the Conservative Caucus. Right now he's in Indiana, one of his favorite states. That's where he's from. Jim Pfaff, great to have you with us.
Good to be with you, John. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we got communists winning all over the place. I guess they felt that Wong was too crazy to be nominated. She'd have gotten blown out by Tiffany. She hates Thanksgiving. She hates whites. She hates her whiteness. She married a white guy. Imagine being her husband. She goes on TV and she's like, I'm ashamed of my whiteness. I have a mixed race son. I'm ashamed that I'm so close to white people. Well, your husband's white. Well, yeah, but I don't really like him. I mean, there's two husbands I feel sorry for. Wong's husband, who basically said, sorry, I married a white guy and have a half white child. Feel sorry for him. The other husband I feel sorry for, Elizabeth Warren. Brain the clock, my kind of guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Women, he's my kind of guy. He slaps him around. That's my kind of guy. Yeah, I like him. Imagine being her husband.
That's
okay.
my kind of man.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah, imagine being her husband. There, you're saying, okay, do we need to add a little spice here to our life? You want me to go to the adult store and buy one of those whips or something? I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Well, even worse having a pagan Indian hunter coming at you. So, who wants that? Listen, I think what happened with Wong last night may be an indication that the ick factor on the DSA is starting to kick in. I've been talking for a few weeks now about the fact that I'm just sort of watching for clues that people are saying, I don't want the communists. I really just don't want them. And Wisconsin's an interesting state, too, because even though Madison is like a freak job, radical leftist city, just like Bloomington here up in the road from me, because it's a college town, nonetheless, the people of Wisconsin, they're not radical leftists. Like over in Minnesota, where you have the Democratic Farm Labor Party, which they don't really have the Democrat Party. They have their own party that aligns with the Democrat Party, and they're radical leftist socialist forever. That party has always been a socialist party. But the Wisconsin's not that way. It's more normal people overall, even amongst the Democrat ranks. So I think that's possibly what we're seeing here. And if that is what we're seeing, I think this is going to settle in and accrue to the negative benefit of Democrats going into November. And frankly, I saw you had posted up an analysis about how you're convinced that Republicans are going to win in November. And I'm not convinced of that yet, but I think that's roughly the track that we're headed back down, when in the beginning of the year, I just said things were slipping away. So, but it's not because of anything Republicans did other than Donald Trump. Like, what Donald Trump's doing is fine, but what the Republicans are doing isn't helping. It's because Democrats are acting so stupidly. Just think about the supermajorities we'd have in Congress if John Thune and Mike Johnson decided to govern their caucuses the way that the Trump voters voted for Trump to do what they wanted him to do. If they did that, man, everybody would be coming on board. Save America Act would have been a foregone conclusion a long time ago, and we'd be back on our way to prosperity until the census, when it's going to be impossible for Democrats to govern again if we don't keep our elections bad.
Jim Pfaff, truer words have never been spoken, head of the Conservative Caucus. That's why we love having you on. A little spirited conversation here. Let's get to Indiana, your favorite state, where you are now. We did the bus tour up there. We spent 2 weeks trying to get those 2 seats gerrymandered for President Trump in Indiana. We got screwed by the rhinos in the state Senate. 8 of them were up for re-election. MAGA and President Trump primaried all 8. We just had the final one come in. We won the final seat there by 3 votes. We won 7 of 8. 7 of 8 kicked out incumbent Republican rhinos who wouldn't vote in favor of the redistricting. Reaction. 7 of 8.
Totally appropriate. Long overdue in Indiana, by the way. When I was running campaigns in Indiana in the 1990s, I ran a gubernatorial campaign and a bunch of state legislative campaigns. We were able to move the needle a little bit and get some good people in. And it started to change things leading into this century. But the Indiana Chamber of Commerce, which is, they're not even rhinos, they're actually pretty much Democrats, the way that they want things to go. They totally have controlled the Republican Party, and they just got slapped bad, and they deserve it big time. By the way, kudos to my friend Jim Banks, Senator Jim Banks, because he took a real leadership role in this too and got highly involved in it, unlike my other friend, Todd Young, Senator Todd Young, who frankly falls on the other side in many ways. I mean, I like Todd personally, but he's been horrible. But Jim has done a really good job taking up that leadership, and it helps out. But it's an example of what we need to do around the country, because Indiana was just one of the highlighted problems that people saw. We've got this same problem with Republican parties in state by state by state. Just look at the RPV. The RPV in Virginia needs to get its act together, but what did they do? They shut down that recent bit of voting in Lynchburg, where the local party was trying to get people that were like real Republicans elected into local city council, and the state party knocked it down at their state convention. Like, that is another great example of how you're shutting down, how these GOP leadership shut down the real people. I've talked to person after person in Georgia who were Trump supporters, wanted to change Georgia, and Brian Kemp and his organization were slapping them down every time. I mean, this has all got to stop. It was a great first start in Indiana. We got to do this in every state.
Well, that's all they understand, is getting beat, right? That's it. If you can't beat them in the primaries, and look, I keep saying to everybody that MAGA is very close now to fully taking over the Republican Party. Lock, knock, and barrel, Jim. I mean, we're very close. You know, you got to go to when the dust is settled in 28. The only rhino standing in the Senate, really rhino, is going to be, in my estimation, Susan Collins, because Murkowski and Thune are done in 28. Cornyn's gone, Tillis gone, Cassidy gone, McConnell gone. It's going to be a whole different story. Now, Jim, Let's get to South Carolina. My estimation, Darlene Graham in big trouble. Got 34% of the vote, had Trump's endorsement, which means 66%, 2/3 of Republicans in South Carolina voted against her. They don't really know who she is. They don't know really what she stands for. Ralph Norman, 24% came in second. He's going to get in the runoff. So you look at the other people that were in there, they were all more conservative or as conservative as he was. I don't think she gets those votes. I think Norman wins. Your assessment?
I think that is a very real possibility. I think two things. First of all, one, Russell Fry needs to come out immediately and endorse Ralph Norman. And Ralph, by the way, I just want to say, is a fantastic man, incredibly capable, perfect for this position. Didn't grow up a politician, but has served really well in Washington doing what he's been doing, standing up for MAGA values. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. Never underestimate the power shortly after his death of the Lindsey Graham operation in South Carolina. The reason he has not been overthrown for many years is because he builds a powerful organization. Now, the difference is he's gone. He's not helping direct it, but they may be really working hard for his sister. That said, when you look at the total votes of Mark Sanford, Russell Fry, and Ralph Norman, that wins right there. So if I would hope Mark Sanford's the kind of guy that, I'm just saying this because of what I know. I'm not just calculating here. He's the kind of guy that just kind of does his own thing. He's inward. He thinks about himself. It's not always a bad thing, but sometimes it is. But he may not come out and endorse Ralph, but I think he needs to do it. Russell Fry, though, that's a gimme. He just, listen, you lost, dude. Let's just get over the finish line and finally be done with the Graham problem in South Carolina. It would be very, very nice. I'm sure Lindsey's sister's a nice lady, but I'm sorry. She's going to do whatever John Thune tells her to say. And that is just not going to be a very good combination for South Carolina, which has been begging for a truly conservative, deeply conservative U.S. senator for a long time. Not that Tim Scott's necessarily all that bad. I know Tim, and I like him a lot. But we need something quite a bit more, and Ralph Norman is the perfect person to make that happen because he's really smart. He's already battle tested, and he knows from day one what needs to get done. Lindsey's sister says she's starting to learn the ways, but we need someone that knows the ways and knows how to get through all of this. So
you endorse him? Are you endorsing Ralph Norman?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to put that up. Why are you endorsing Ralph Norman over Darlene Graham? Tell our audience.
Because Ralph, I mentioned about battle tested. Listen, he's a House Freedom Caucus guy. These guys have been beaten up over principled MAGA America First policies and spending approaches for years now. When he came in on the scene, he immediately made a big difference. Listen, he also understands what the policy problems are in D.C. He knows how the sausage is being made with all the crap that they put in it. And he rejects that consistently. So you got to have someone that can do that. And again, Darlene Graham may be a nice lady and certainly she'll maybe vote a couple ways. It'll be nice on some big bill that we all care about. But that's not going to get the job done. She's not going to be able to move the needle in Washington, D.C., because you have to have been there to get it done. When I went to work on Capitol Hill as chief of staff for Tim Huelskamp in 2010, I had already been battle worn. I was 20 years working in politics by that time, almost. I had a lot of experience, and we walked into Washington, D.C., and we figured out, oh my gosh, there's a lot we don't get yet, and we're going to have to quickly come up to speed. And we did. And I think that Tim did a fantastic job, and I was able to help him. And we started to really learn what was happening. Tim had been a state senator for 12 years, taking blows in Kansas before he got there. He had all the experience in the world. You have to have gone through it to be effective. Ralph already has. He's got that already behind him, and his principles are right. He's not going to back down. He's going to be a big help to Mike Lee, and my friend Jim Banks is the best way that I can put it. So that's why I endorse him. I think he's a good man.
You mind if I put this up on social media?
Not at all. That's my personal endorsement, and I think the man needs to get elected.
John Fredericks Media Network, Jim Pfaff with us endorsing Ralph Norman. And I think it's a very powerful endorsement. I happen to agree with you 100% about what you're saying. Battle tested. Look, I'm sure Darlene, nice young lady, don't know much about her. At the end of the day, I don't know her. I don't want to take any more risk. I don't want to roll the dice. I don't want to hope things work out. Been there, done that. Been there. You know, I don't want another, hate to say it, Amy Coney Barrett. I was all in. Day, you know, I was the cheerleader, pom-poms out, so excited. And what did we get? Complete and utter catastrophe, disaster, right? Disaster. So, you know, I'm done with that. Now, we didn't really know her. All I knew was Catholic, Notre Dame, you know, pro-life, you know, all these kids, foster kids, her own kids, big family, you know, said all the right things. But then you really looked in her background and there wasn't anything there to really know what she was going to do. There was nothing really to indicate it. So, you know, I got sucked up in that thing. And now I got egg on my face. So I'm done with that. I'm done.
Hey, listen, I don't want Darlene Graham to be a proxy vote for John Thune.
Thank you.
I'm just not interested in that.
Bingo. We're on the same page, 100%. Jim Pfaff, always good to have you.
Thanks for having me, John.
If you want to follow you, where do they go?
Go to theconservativecaucus.com. Conservativecaucus.com.
All right, talk soon.
Thanks.
John Fredericks Media Network, your calls when I get back. 888-480-JOHN.
Patented premium My Pillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. So, what if you're looking to lose weight but not interested in painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The ingredients studied in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Get started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Go to takelean.com and enter the code Godzilla for your discount. That's discount code Godzilla at takelean.com.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Folks, this is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Soul Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Soul Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
Don't touch that dial. You've found your home of the truth.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
With the best analysis in America.
You can't handle the truth.
And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
I tell you what, it's great to have you with us as always. And just having so much fun. Want to get your calls, 888-480-JOHN. A lot of people looking for health insurance out there. We don't need Medicaid for all. It doesn't work. Can't pay for it, and it sucks. But I tell you what, my friend Barry Draper, guy's brilliant, has found a way to do this with his new healthcare plan, the Smart Health Company. This thing, Dan, let's put this up because it is such a great idea. Ann and I have checked this out. We're going to probably bring it into our company in 27, Ann said. The Smart Healthcare from the Smart Health Company, they're helping families, individuals, and businesses get quality healthcare coverage without getting destroyed financially, Dan. Now you get complete and comprehensive coverage. You're going to get hospitalization. You're going to get surgery, critical illness protection. You also get a nationwide PPO plan, for $15 a copay visit. You can't beat that. Put it up again, Dan, so we have it in the Chiron. Now, whether you need an individual plan for yourself or you need group coverage for your company, the Smart Health Plan, go to thesmarthealthplan.com. Thesmarthealthplan.com is something you should really check out. Give them a call today, 833-752-6742, 833-752-6742, thesmarthealthplan.com, thesmarthealthplan.com. You go there, and the thing I love about it is it's going to save you. It's going to save you almost 35 or 40% from what you're paying from an unsubsidized plan. Again, and I'm going to jot this down here so I can just read it. The smarthealthplan.com. And we thank Barry Draper for putting this up because I think it's going to be a godsend for a lot of people, especially if you own a business, the smarthealthplan.com, or give them a call, 833-752-6742. And we thank Barry for doing this. Check him out. Just get a quote and see if you can figure it out. Okay, a couple things I want to get to before our calls. Let's get to, okay, we're going to get to John. Is John still on hold from Virginia?
He is, yep.
All right, tell him to hold a second. I want to get to the Spanberger clip here. Let's get the Spanberger, because John's calling from Virginia. Let's get to cut 11. Here's Spanberger, the governor, getting a very nasty reaction. She went to the 90th annual Old Fiddlers Convention in Galax and got heckled off the stage. Think maybe a little shine went off for Apple, Danny? What do you think?
It was interesting. I mean, crazy to watch.
11. Let's take a look.
Oh, sorry. What was that? One more time, John?
11. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
community and coming together.
Wow. I mean, wow. She's been governor 7 months and she's booed off the stage. She's booed off the stage in Southwest Virginia. Booed off the stage. Now, this is your sitting governor. Like they never did that to McAuliffe. They never did that to Youngkin. And of course, Norman didn't go out after the blackface thing. He just holed up in the mansion. Wow. You're governor 7 months. You won by 16 points. 17, was it 16? You won by 16 points. Biggest landslide in Virginia history in a governor's race. 7 months later, you're booed off the stage. Unfreaking believable. John, Southwest Virginia, go.
John, thanks for taking my call. I'll make a quick comment on her, and then I'll get to my reason for calling. I've been to the Bluegrass Festival at Gaelics before, and I can tell you the people there are a bunch of conservative people. A lot of them from the mountains, from the higher country here in Virginia, and we just don't have time for her brand of communism. We just don't, and so it's not appreciative at all. We're not appreciative at all of her or anything that she stands for. So her getting booed was apropos.
Off the stage. I mean, it was so bad she had to leave. She got booed off the stage.
Yeah, like I said, we don't have
she
time
went
for
there
her
because
brand of
she
communism.
went there because other governors have gone there. Democratic governors have gone there. They never got booed. McAuliffe went there. He didn't get booed. They were respectful. It was McAuliffe, whatever, right?
They didn't come
Wilder
with
went
communism.
there. Doug Wilder went there. Kane went there. Warner went there. None of them got booed off the stage. All Democrat governors. None of them got booed off the stage. She gets booed off the stage. She's been there 7 months.
Let me tell you the reason for my call, John. It deals with Iran. I am and still remain a big supporter of the president and all of his policies. What I would recommend doing is and any country that's had all their navy sunk and their air force shot out of the sky, destroyed on the ground, a lot of their other support equipment, missile systems and everything destroyed or largely destroyed. No way you can really call that a victory. It's like a Baghdad Bob comedy. But what I'm in favor of, what I've come to believe is that we should just bring out all the facts of what has happened so far and just say, you know what, we won, you lost, we're out of here.
Can't do that, John, you can't do that.
You can, John, and here's the reason why.
John, you can't do it.
Europe is responsible for the oil out of there. We're not. We can go. Anytime we go in to take Carg Island, when we sit on Carg Island, it's not going to work. We're going to be a target. We're going to be a target for anything that gets launched from the mainland. I've been in Iran. I've trained some of the people that were in Iran back when the Shah was there. I know what Iran is about, and I can tell you, you cannot go in there, put boots on the ground, and win and hold it and get out of there. You can't do it. But Europe gets their oil from there. That's where they need to come in. You tell Europe, here you go. We did this. We took care of the nuke threat.
So
for
if
now.
you do that,
now it's up to you guys.
If you do that, Iran's going to claim victory. They kicked us out because we're afraid of the midterms. They're playing for the election, right? You understand that, right? They're playing for the election. Soon as the Democrats win, they're gonna cut all the money off. They want Iran to win. The Democrats want Iran to win this war, so that's what Iran is playing to. And so, why would Trump play into their hands? So look, we're not going to get a conference here. We're going to agree to disagree because we're not on the same page. And I don't think it's up to Europe. I think it's up to us because it's our gas prices and the strait's got to be open, and we need to control it, and we need a permanent solution. Anything else, this is going to happen again. This has been going on for 50 years. It's going to happen again. Nothing will stop. As soon as they get the money, the Houthis come back, Hamas comes back, they all come back. Nothing changes. They kill Americans until you simply take the one leverage point away, which is that strait. Once you control that, they're done. I would keep the blockade on until they run out of money. And then people start starving in the street. And when you're starving, you will revolt. That's just the way life is. You'll revolt when there's no food. So we take a very different position. I think he gets out now and tries to declare victory. It's hollow. People see through it. They won. We lost. Trump's going to look like a fool. We're going to get slaughtered in the midterms. So I don't agree with you. I respect your position, but we're not on the same page. But I'll give you the final word.
No, John, I just think we keep all of our economic pressures on them that we've kept, and they're still going to starve. It's just that we don't go in and we don't try to take land. That's going to be a problem. That's just going to unite the people there more. You go ahead and you say, okay, Europe, we've done this without your help. Now it's time for you, since you get your oil. We can frack and we can keep doing all of our stuff back here, use our oil, and build our own supplies back up and do all that. But let Europe, it's time for you now to take over. If you want something done over here different, you want straits open more, then you be responsible for opening them and keeping them open. But for us, we're not going to be sitting in here and spending billions of dollars and trying to take land, Carg Island, and jeopardizing our people for you when you're not willing to come in and help.
Well, they ain't going to do anything. So, I mean, basically...
Well, they may not, but that's up to them.
Well, we don't agree, and we're not going to agree on this call. But I do respect your opinion.
We'll see who wins.
I do. It's not about winning. It's about what's the right thing to do.
It is about winning.
John, I'm sorry. We don't agree. It's okay. We can agree to disagree and be respectful. We do not agree. And you're not going to get me there. Sorry. And I'm not going to get you there. But it's a healthy debate. I understand your position, but we're not going to agree. Europe isn't going to do anything. Iran is going to claim victory. Rightly so. They beat back America. We tucked tail and went out of there because we're scared about a gas price and about losing the midterms. Then that becomes the playbook for everybody. Just wait till the midterms and do whatever you want, and who's ever in charge will eventually cave because they're afraid of an election. That's the scenario you're setting up, because Europe ain't going to do jack squat. They don't do anything. And so this is on us. We went in. He said no nukes. He decided to do it. Now he's got to get out of it. The only way you get out of it is by winning. And the only way you win is by keeping the strait open permanently. No Oman, no Iran, no this, no that. U.S., we keep it open. We got the ships. We take the island. They got nothing. We choke them off financially. They have no money. They can't sell their oil. They eventually collapse from within. I don't really care. I don't care what they do. But I'm going to get that. We got to get that oil through. And we got to have a permanent solution. And Oman and a deal with Iran is a joke. You know it and I know it. It's a clown car. I think it'll be violated the first day. Anyway, thank you. Let's get to, I'm going to get to cut 5. Here's CNN's K-Files. They unearth another Abdul Sayed's private anti-American YouTube criticizing July 4th. So you got one communist who wants to cancel Thanksgiving because she hates Thanksgiving because we stole the land from the indigenous people and we shouldn't be celebrating that. We should be giving it back to them. And then another guy, Al Sayed, well, he hates Independence Day because we didn't deserve it to be independent. We didn't deserve any of it. We're a bastard country that stole land. And what are we celebrating? A constitution that enshrined all the bad things. And he hates the founding fathers. So July 4th shouldn't be celebrated either, according to the communists that hate America. Cut 5. Take a look.
Aaron, this is all part of a broader pattern that we found with Abdul El Sayed. He spent years as a prolific commentator before launching his Senate campaign, and we had previously covered on this show that he deleted a lot of tweets about defund the police. Now, what we have found now is more than 100 of his YouTube videos on his YouTube channel that appear to have been made private. And one thing that is worth noting here is that his campaign now says that these don't reflect his beliefs today. But one thing that's worth pointing out is this really isn't a distant archive. These are comments from the last 4 years, with one of these videos posted as recently as 2 years ago. I want to run through a few of them of what we found. Now, you did mention that 4th of July video. You can see the taken down video right there from July 2024. El Sayed cited air pollution from Detroit, fireworks, chemicals used in fireworks, PTSD among veterans, and risk to children and pets. And he asked if Americans could find another way to celebrate. And Aaron, that is really just one example. In another that we found from April 2023 after a school shooting in Tennessee, El Sayed floated replacing the Second Amendment right to bear arms with a constitutional right to health care, saying, what if we tweaked the Constitution, amended the amendment, and instead of the right to bear arms, we changed it to the right to have health care? In another September 2022 video that we found, El Sayed also blasted Republicans for focusing on the southern border, calling it an issue they, quote, love to flog, adding in, quote, it doesn't even make the top 5 among issues that people in the United States actually care about that affect their lives.
Oh, we changed our position. Oh, it was 2 years ago. Well, that was a long time ago, 2 years. What if we tweaked the Constitution, amended the amendment, got rid of the Second Amendment, and replaced it with universal health care for all? No guns, health care. And you think this guy's actually going to win Michigan? I mean, they handed us the Senate because they don't care. Just get it. They don't care. They would have handed us the governorship in Wisconsin if the voters didn't reject the anti-Thanksgiving lady. Wang. They didn't reject her. They don't care. They got to lose. They got to take over the party, and take over the party. You got to win the primaries, and you got to lose. The more the Democrats lose, the weaker they become. The party, Democrat National Committee, the party, not the people in it, the party becomes weaker, and the weaker the party becomes, the easier it is to take it over. You want to go back down memory lane here? Okay, truth and clarity is what you get here, right? Beginning of the end of the Democrat Party as we know it was when Ken Martin released that so-called autopsy and then redacted half of it and then wasn't going to release it and then released it, and it was a disaster. Autopsy on what happened in 24 with Kamala Harris and the whole Democratic ticket. I want you to go back before we took the party over. It's been a long haul. I want you to go back to 2014. Reince Priebus, chairman, Republican Party, beat Michael Steele, who was another clown. Beat Michael Steele. That was a disaster. Go back to 2014, right? After the Romney loss. And what did Reince Priebus do? He commissioned an autopsy. Why did we lose in 2012? Romney. Why did we lose in 2012? That's what he wanted to know. And that came out and blah, blah, blah. And that started it. Then we had the big election in 2014. And then we elected Boehner, got in. All these people got in. We had the Senate. We had Boehner. They did nothing. Zero. Republican Party was dead in the water. That's when Trump came in and MAGA took it over. That was the start of it. That was 2015. Now it's 2026. 11 years it took us. And we got one more cycle here. You saw what happened in Indiana. You see what's going to happen in 28. By the time we're done with 28, John Thune's gone. Murkowski's gone. They're done. It would have taken 13 years. This is what the Democrats are trying to do. This is a long-term plan to wrest control of one of two major U.S. parties. Wrest control of it. And there can't be a third party. Then they never work. Takes too long. Don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. So this is their plan. This is why they're going to lose. They don't care. They knew what the Democrat socialists knew Wong couldn't win that governor's race. They backed her anyway because that's not what it was. It wasn't never about winning the governorship of Wisconsin. They don't care about that. Who cares? They care about taking the party over, just like we did. Now, we were fortunate to have a candidate that we could also elect simultaneously. We were fortunate to do that. They're not. But they're smart. And so that is what's going on there. This guy is going to get the crap kicked out of him. We got Virginia Gang coming up. I want to get to President Trump here, cut 2, saying, hey, everybody wants me to run in 28, but I don't know. I don't think I can because it's the law. But they all want me to run in 28, so he teases it out there, and the Democrat socialists troll him, and they all go nuts. So let's go to cut 2, President Trump.
Mr. President, you mentioned 2028 several times in the last few weeks. At the dinner you put on a Trump 2028 hat. Are you serious about seeking a third term?
Everybody asked me that question, and you know that the law is very strong on that. I'd love to run, but the law is very strong. I get asked by well, even tonight they're screaming at the event, 2028. No, everybody wants me to do it, but the law is very strong.
Is that a no?
Thank you very much, everybody.
Of course he's not going to run. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Even the question's stupid, but it's fun. Here's Trump saying that prices are dropping fast and we have complete control of the Strait of Hormuz. Cut 3, take a look.
Games were tremendous. Great young athletes, the future of our country. And we had a great time in Ohio, a fantastic time in Ohio. The country's doing well. The stock market's fantastic record. We have 79 records so far in a short period of time. More people are working right now in the United States than ever before, and prices are dropping fast. Iran is going fine, going just absolutely fine. We totally control the Strait of Hormuz. We have control over it. Nobody else, only us. Our Navy is unbelievable, and things are going great for our country. Go ahead.
There you have it. The strait's open. Prices are falling, according to the president. And that's why I think you need to end this thing. Take Carg Island, own the strait, and be done with it, and they're done. Their only leverage point they have is that strait. You end that forever, the regime collapses under their own weight. But I don't care. I don't care what they do. They want to kill their own people, and their own people want to stand there and get slaughtered. You know what? Not my problem. It really is not. They want to rebel. That's not my problem either. I got one problem. Getting these oil tankers through the straits on a permanent basis. Keep prices down and help Americans. That's it. Other than that, I could give a rat's tail. Just don't care. Care about us. Okay, we got the Virginia gang coming up. We got Bob Barr's going to be with us, I understand, right? Dan, from what I heard. So we got Bob Barr. And did I say Virginia gang? I'm sorry. Roll that back. Peach Crew. What was I thinking? I was thinking about Spamberger. Peach Crew is next. We got Sally Grubbs and their team. We got Bob Barr on. And sorry about that, Dan. Peach Crew.
Well, you know, you go back long enough in the United States, everything was Virginia at one point or another. But no, it's Georgia now.
Peach Crew in Georgia coming up next. We'll segue to that. Don't forget, 6 to 7 p.m. Game on America Sports. Game on America Sports with Frank Zaccanelli. You're going to love that show. Dan, have you had a chance to view it yet?
I haven't. I really do need to tune in because I'm hearing such good things. I'm hearing
really
such good things about it. Yeah.
It's really good. The way he does it, and they have a theme a day, which is kind of neat. Kind of like we have. Like we have the 9 to 10 hour, we have a theme a day. Now, you know, when you do morning drive, you can't have a theme because it's like whatever happened overnight is your theme, whatever the news is, and whoever, you know, you have on.
Sure.
But you know, our theme 9 to 10 is, you know, Monday's Pennsylvania, Tuesday's West Virginia, Wednesday's Atlanta, Thursday is DC, and Friday is Virginia. Hey, what about speaking of Tuesday? What about the fireworks on the West Virginia Mavericks, the Mountaineer Mavericks yesterday?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
That took a turn. It's like whoa.
Well,
yeah.
that was a good segment, man.
Yeah, it was.
They got into it.
They did. They did indeed.
I tell you, that Michael Haidt, that delegate Michael Haidt, he doesn't take any prisoners. Either does Chris Sanders.
No. Yeah, and it was interesting to watch their body language during that hour yesterday. Like, I wonder if there might be a few phone calls after the show going back and forth.
I mean, Haidt had a point. Like, you started your own conference. What the hell are you calling us for? He had a point. You know, you go make a note from your own caucus, your conservative, whatever it is, Freedom Caucus, You started your own caucus, so screw all y'all. And then Andrew saying there were a number of Republican elected officials going to my Democrat opponent's fundraiser. What's that about?
I guess we'll find out.
Peach Crew next.
One person dead.
Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine warned residents about the severe weather sweeping eastward.
We are in a very dangerous weather situation that really involves all of Ohio. Flooding danger is going to continue to go up for a while.
Near Chicago, tornado sirens sounded and flights were temporarily suspended Tuesday at the city's two major airports. More than 780,000 customers in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio lost power. Footage shows damaged roofs, flooded roads, and trees tangled in power lines. Audio courtesy WSYX WTTE. I'm Jennifer King.
The late Senator Lindsey Graham's sister has advanced to a runoff in the South Carolina Republican Senate primary.
South Carolina Senator conservative Darlene Graham getting the most votes in the Republican primary race, but not enough votes to win. So she will now face Congressman Ralph Norman in the August 25th runoff. Governor McMaster had appointed Darlene to serve the rest of Lindsey Graham's term after he passed away.
Correspondent Laura Winters. Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong has lost her bid for the Democratic nomination for governor in Wisconsin. David Crowley, endorsed by the party establishment, won by less than 1%. Was something of a surprise since multiple polls had given Hong a clear advantage. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are up more than 100 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
China is rolling out a new jetliner that could eventually challenge two leading aircraft manufacturers.
An Air China connection between this city and Ulaanbaatar has been chosen as the first international route for China's homegrown passenger aircraft. From today, the Comac C919 will be in service for daily flights to Mongolia. It's hoped that these Chinese jets will eventually challenge the dominance of Boeing and Airbus, but analysts have speculated that this may take many years. The C919s, similar in size to Boeing's 737s, have already been trialled on domestic routes in China, but today marks the beginning of their use internationally.
The BBC's Stephen McDonnell in Beijing. As time passes, a desperate search for survivors of the earthquake in Colombia takes on an added sense of urgency. Aid agencies consider the first 48 to 72 hours crucial for finding people alive. News and analysis, townhall.com. Russia has released an American military veteran it had been holding for years.
Moscow has allowed Robert Gilman to return to the U.S. after 4 years of what his family and U.S. officials allege was wrongful incarceration and abusive treatment that left him near death. Gilman was freed after President Trump said he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president said Gilman was released on humanitarian grounds, and Russia asked for no one in exchange. Bob Agnew reporting.
Used home sales tumbled last month, sales falling 1.7% from June, according to the National Association of Realtors. Record high prices along with high mortgage rates turned away a lot of would-be home buyers. The median sales price for a house, $434,100. On Wall Street, the NASDAQ futures are up close to 300 points. S&P futures 36 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Big changes are coming to the John Fredericks Media Network.
John Fredericks, your Godzilla of Truth, starts the day from 6 to 10. Wendy Bell follows from 10 to noon. Rob Carson staying put at noon to 3. Michael Patrick Leahy moves to 3 o'clock, followed by Katz and Cosby at 5. America's new boss for conservative talk is the John Fredericks Media Network.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Soul Tea almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Soul Tea. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Soul Tea, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Get the news in the morning from your Godzilla of Truth. Then brace yourself from 10 to noon. Hear the reaction from Wendy Bell Live.
It's not going to be a conspiracy theory. It's going to end up being a conspiracy fact.
Because we're freaking lied to about everything.
She's America's anchor mom.
He's not just talking out of his butt.
Catch the Truth Bomb explosion starting August 17th. Wendy Bell Live. 10 to noon on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Live from the studios of the John Fredericks Media Network, it's the John Fredericks Show. Grab yourself a cup of 1775 coffee, sit back, and get ready for the best 4 hours of talk in the universe. To be part of the show, just call our toll-free number, 888-480-5646. And now, here's the Godzilla of Truth, the Oracle of the Deplorables, the man who trucks the truth from coast to coast, John Fredericks.
Well, you're on the John Fredericks Media Network, and it's time for the Peach Crew, and I'm your host, John Fredericks, and we got a packed show today. We got Sally Grubbs, we got a Hallie Kessler, we got Jim Tully, we got Bob Barr, all coming up right here. I'm live in Washington, D.C. They're all live in Atlanta, and the Peaches are ready to go and raring hot. This segment brought to you by our good friends at Sat123. Go to sat123.com. Get your Starlink Mini there. I love my Starlink Mini. I don't need a jetpack. I don't need any of that. I take my Starlink with me. My Starlink Mini, it fits right in my briefcase. I take it in the car. I take it on the bus. I take it to my hotel. I take it wherever I need it. Boom. All you got to do is put it by the window. You turn it on. You got up, you got down, you got 100 meg. You're good to go. This thing is the greatest thing ever invented. I don't have to worry about a hotel internet that can't get on. It's slow. Forget that. I don't have time for that. All I know is I get my Starlink Mini. I put it right by the window. I plug it in. I turn it on. Boom. And I got the best coverage ever. Now, if you own a business, you got to stay in touch. You got to get your Starlink Mini now. And it's very inexpensive, $169. And it costs you like, I don't know, $59 a month. I mean, it's the biggest no-brainer since Swiss cheese. All you got to do is go to sat123.com, sat123.com. They got a deal on it right there. Get your Starlink Mini, and always be in touch. You know, when Sally's in her car, right? She's in her car and she's on the show. When her car, if she had a Starlink Mini, she would never have to be concerned about the phone or anything. You just pop your computer on, you put your Starlink Mini, you open up the window, you just put it right there, boom. You got perfect internet coverage. You drive around, you're good. Get your Starlink Mini today. Go to sat123.com and check it out, sat123.com. All right, let's bring the Peaches in, and Bob Barr, and Jim Tully. So you got Peaches +2, and Sally, you need to get Starlink 123. Bob Barr doesn't need one because he's in the office. He's got all kinds of internet things going on. Bob Barr, I'm going to just start with you because, God, Bob, I haven't seen you in so long. You look better than ever. You never age, Bob. How do you stay so healthy?
I don't know whether that's good or bad. Maybe I looked old when I was young, or maybe I look young when I'm old. I don't know.
Either one, Bob. It's great to have you, and great to catch up. Great to have you on the Peach Crew. Sally, let's introduce our panel. We got Jim Tully, former candidate in the mighty GA14. Sally Grubbs, she's vice chair of the Republican Party of Georgia. And Holly Kessler back from Kessler Consulting. She's in Savannah. And we got Bob Barr and Jim Tully. Sally, lead us off.
So, John, I'm very excited to have former Congressman Bob Barr with us today. He is one of my heroes. Being in Cobb County, he has been a leader not only in Congress, but also with the NRA, and just a very, former U.S. attorney, just a very well-rounded man. And I can't express how much I thank him for his leadership and helping me when I was chair of the Cobb Republican Party. And he's a rock. He's rock solid, always been there. His values for America are outstanding, and just a legacy of leadership. And I look up to him very, very much.
You know, he was there when Georgia was blue, was all Democrats, and Bob Barr, one of the first Republicans to start winning in there and making some noise. And I think I backed him in every race he had. I think he ran for U.S. Senate, got beat by. Didn't you get beat by Coverdale in that runoff?
Back in '92.
Yep, you got beat by Coverdale in the runoff. I do remember that. Paul Coverdale, bless his heart, bless his soul, wonderful, wonderful guy. Coverdale Center named after him. But I remember Bob doing that and all kinds of neat things. And but now we got races in Georgia, and they don't look good. Let's start with the governor's race. Ricky Jackson. I can't imagine you guys are going to go back and elect a mayor to let the city burn right under her. I just can't imagine that. But the poll numbers right now, Ricky Jackson just can't seem to get traction. What's going on with that, Bob?
I think it's simply too early. People are not focused on the elections yet. It's in the middle of summertime still here. Rick Jackson, he's a self-made businessman, as you all know. Very wealthy for the right reasons. He's a good businessman, has worked across the state since he was a kid, really. He knows the state. He knows the people. He has tremendous energy, as Sally knows, working with him as well. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people and pull this off. He has the energy, the right platform, and the resources to get his message out all across the state.
Jim Tully, do you agree with that assessment? Jim, you there? No audio from Jim. I'll go to Holly. Holly, do you agree with that assessment?
I do. I think that we're still, it's still very early going into the general, and summertime's kind of wrapping up. Kids are going back to school. Mine just started back last week. So people just they're not quite in it yet. I think the energy, the base and motivation for people really getting out and campaigning and starting to help and sign waving and all of that. I think we're going to see that pick up as it gets a little bit closer and people kind of get settled back into their routines, after the summertime. So I do agree. And, when it comes to Keisha, people remember what she did to Atlanta. People don't want to see that happen to the entire state of Georgia, so that's just the cold, hard truth. And that's just one instance, but that was a pretty big one and pretty bad. So Georgia voters they're going to look at that.
Jim, do we have your audio back?
Yeah,
Jim?
we're good.
All right, go ahead.
John, good morning, everybody. I love that you called him Ricky Jackson. I got to meet him for the first time this past Saturday. He walked in the door, walked straight up to me. I thought he knew something that I didn't know, but a very cordial individual. Folks gathered to him like a moth to a flame. It was unbelievable to watch him at a GOP function in Rome with about 400 people in attendance. Well-spoken, very nice man, seems to have the attention of whoever's around him. And one of his campaign managers told me that he is just in it all the time. Doesn't experience any exhaustion 4 a.m. till they're done at night. And I agree with Bob that it's a little early, and we will engage.
Okay, well, I call him Ricky because you got to get, he's just got to get a little bit more personal. So hopefully we'll be able to do that for him. I met him a long time ago, just as a healthcare titan, basically, when I was somewhere in Atlanta. He ran all those companies, a billionaire. So, money's not going to be the issue with him. And I think when they start exposing bottoms for, basically the disaster that she had going on in Atlanta, I think he's in good shape. Bob, you know a little bit about Georgia and the U.S. Senate. Let's get to the Senate race. I don't see a pathway for Mike Collins here. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I can't tell you you're necessarily wrong. Your assessment is right at this time, but a lot can happen over the next couple of months. Collins is an energetic campaigner. He comes from very, very good stock. I served with his dad, so I think he's got a real shot at it. I wouldn't write him off by any stretch of the imagination. I'd put some money on him.
Okay, well, you can go to Cashier Poly Market and do that. Go to the futures market. I wouldn't take that bet. I don't think he's going to win. Ossoff, he says one thing and does another, but he just doesn't aggravate anybody. That's the thing, Sally. He's just not annoying. That's
well,
about
John,
him the other day on the Washington Post about him, and I said, the guy's just not. He's not annoying. Is the best way that I can put it out there. Go ahead.
Well, here's one of the problems, John, that I want Republicans to listen to, which is one of the reasons why John Ossoff is not annoying is his constituent services. Even if you're not a Democrat, his constituent services has been effective. And I think one of the things that any candidate needs to do is to remember that they're there to serve the people. And when the people have issues, whether it's Veterans Affairs issues or whether it's, some kind of any kind of government, interfacing issue, you've got to be there to serve the people. And John Ossoff, his group has done that pretty well. The problem is that you see this influx of, I'm not going to call them Democrat socialist. I'm going to call them communists because that's what they are. We have got communists infiltrating our country at every level. And last night we had an event at the Georgia GOP headquarters, and RNC Chairman Joe Gruters was there, and he was talking about all the candidates that the RNC's supporting and promoting throughout the country. And this, in Georgia, we see it in local races from city council to mayor races where you've got the DSA actively involved. They just opened a DSA office here in Cobb County. So they are coming fast, they're coming hard, and you've got this weird alignment over the data, and Holly can testify to this, over the data center issue where you've got Republicans on the right who are very much opposed to the data centers. And then you've got these DSA communist people who are against data centers. And you're seeing this very bizarre alignment between the anti data center people coming together on those issues. And Georgians, particularly, do not need to be fooled into thinking that the DSA people, the Democrats, because the DSA's infiltrated the Democrats. I mean, as Congressman Barr knows, I mean, people that he knows from Cobb County, Buddy Darden, Roy Barnes, people that have been in government for a long
Zell
time who are,
Miller.
who are Democrats. They're not the same Democrats that are being controlling the party today. So when you have the strange alignment of these people with the data center issue, that is very concerning, John, because I am very concerned it's going to open the door for these communists to sway some people over to their side. That's where that moderate vote is going to be very critical in this election.
Holly, you want to square that for us?
I do. Well, I'm glad you called on me because I do want to chime in here. We're seeing it firsthand in Effingham, and I've been working with our officials here to get our messaging correct because, like we had discussed one time before, recently they came out the gate and the messaging was horrible. It was a PR nightmare. And so we've worked on that to strategize to do something a little bit better. But we've got Indivisible down here, which is all over the state of Georgia, multiple chapters, DSA, Cobb County, Atlanta, several chapters they just opened as well. But we're seeing them jump into that whole anti-data center and really do a lot of outreach to voters using that. And so it boils down to messaging for me from our Republicans. They've got to get on top of that because this alignment that's going on the other side, they are smart, they are organized, they are using every tool and every trick that they can in the playbook to pull over voters. And that's a problem. People cannot be fooled. And I think sometimes people just get complacent and think, oh, well, we can do this, but they're not seeing the big picture from the 30,000 foot view. They're just seeing the one thing they care about at that moment. And with the data center, an anti-data center rage going on right now in the state of Georgia, that's a big deal. And so Republicans really have to work on their messaging and get it tight and make sure that our relationships with our communities, that it's important that they're maintaining those relationships and speaking correctly to people and their constituents when they're moving forward with projects and plans.
Bob, when you first got on the scene politically, when I was there, long time ago, 80s, Georgia was Democrat, right? We had a couple of elected officials around. That was it. I know he had some guy that ended up getting indicted in Gwinnett County or something, some kind of a money scam, young guy. But when I was there, there were no Republicans. So you were there during the complete Republican takeover. You took over the House, took over the Senate, took over Congress. You got Nathan Deal ended up switching over. He was a Democrat. I go on and on and on. You were one of the pioneers living through that. Mark Burkholder, speaker, when he was Speaker pro tem, flipped the Senate or the Georgia House. Now you've come full cycle. Now we're going back to the Democrats. Going back. How did this happen? How is this happening, Bob?
Well, as Holly said, people do have a tendency to get complacent, and that seems to be particularly predominant with Republicans. So it's incumbent on party officials at the state level and at the local level to energize local parties to make sure that we don't get complacent. And that takes a lot of work. It takes constant effort to bring speakers in, to have good organizations, to have regular meetings, to energize the electorate, not just in a month or a few weeks before the election, but all year long. And that's hard to do. It takes hard, constant work. And Republicans need to remember that that's the case. We don't win elections by just waiting until 30 days before the election date. It takes a lot of work to organize beforehand. And we don't always have individuals in charge of our parties at all levels down here that remember that. That's what it takes. And I think we're well positioned to do that, but it's going to take a lot of work between now and Election Day.
Georgia is now, somebody told me, now a minority majority state. You want to comment on that, Jim Tully?
Well, that is absolutely the truth. In reference to what everybody else is thinking, you have a handful of people that show up and put in the effort. I made a note here. Sally said about the congressman, a legacy of leadership. We have a few people that go and do the work. And the problem with Georgia Republicans is they see Sally, they see Holly, they see me, you and the congressman out doing the work, and they say they're going to take care of it. No, we have people complaining about education, but nobody goes to a school board meeting. If we're not engaged, we get what they give us in the drive-through of life. And political correctness has got us here, and political correctness has got to get us out. We've got to call them out. We've got to engage them and make them understand that it's their responsibility to turn the ship. Otherwise, we're going over the waterfall.
Sally, is Georgia now a purple state?
So, call me Cleopatra because I'm the queen of denial. You're never going to hear me say that. I am going to continue to believe. Look, John, I'm mobile. I'm in my car. I'm out and about. I'm on my way to work. I engage with people every day, and it doesn't scream purple to me. The thing is, Georgia is a hardworking state. Okay, we produce a lot. We agriculture is still our primary commodity for the state of Georgia. And while we have imported a lot of people from California and places, don't get me started on the tax credits for the film industry. Don't get me started on tax credits that that just needs to stop. Like, it's a good thing, I guess, I'm not in the legislature, because I would be holding up a red stop sign all the time when it comes to tax credits and things like that. I don't see what the polls reflect. Yes, we have an influx of people that have moved into the state, but the values, and this is where what Congressman Barr said is so very important for county parties to do, which is you've got to give people the words to say and the values and why conservatism works, why hard work works, why government dependence is bad, why we need to be self-sufficient. And this idea, we had a big controversy in Cobb because President Trump came to one of the local schools, and then you had some of these indivisible people upset because he was at a public school. And Linda McMahon also came. There were several of the, Scott Bessent came, there were cabinet members, Kelly Loeffler was there. And instead of these people looking at a tremendous experience to have the president and so many members of his cabinet come, the Secretary of the Treasury was there, Brandon Beach. This was a tremendous, momentous event, and yet they're complaining. And I heard one of the comments was, well, why have Linda McMahon come? She wants to do away with the Department of Education. And we have to be in front of people to explain why the Department of Education isn't a great thing, and how that was created during the tenure of Jimmy Carter, and why, education needs to be on the local level and the state level. These are the important conversations that we need to be having with people in our communities. And that's why we need strong, resilient county parties to have these events and to spread those messages.
Holly, so, I get what Sally's saying, but you guys are not doing it.
Well, I'm doing it. Jim's doing it.
I was going to say, some of us are doing it. Some of us never stop and never sleep. But no, I'm with you. There needs to be, we need a cheerleading squad running around the state right now. And I hate to call out Brittany, in my home county, but And I get it. She's got her own business and she's busy, but we don't do a lot here in our county. And, and
Well,
that's what needs to happen. It's got to change.
then don't be the chair then.
Yeah, then don't be the chair.
Then
And
don't be
that's
the
the
chair.
thing.
I mean, it's a simple thing. Like, if you don't have the time to do the job or do the position, whether it's volunteer or not, don't do it. Get somebody else to do it that's got the time to invest in order to build something. I think that's one of the that is just one of the issues. Let's get to the House seats, congressional seats. Anything that is at risk, any possible pickups, or you think in November it's status quo? Anybody jump in?
I think it's going to be. I think we're going to, we're going to have Houston Gaines. He's my new favorite. My new favorite guy. He's young. Served in the Georgia House over in the Athens Clark County area. We've had him on the show, John.
Right.
I think he's got the 10th district sewn up. So I think that'll be a tremendous ad. I think Clay Fuller, Jim can.
Well, wait a minute. That's not an ad. That was Collins' district.
Well, it's Collins district. You're right. It's not. It's
So
an
that's
ad
not
for
a
me
flip.
because
that's just a hold serve. My question is, are there any seats there that could flip one way or the other, Bob?
Difficult to see that happening, simply because the most powerful force in the universe is the force of the status quo, as we all know. And it's very difficult to affect change, particularly where you don't have excitement at the top of the ticket, which places a tremendous burden on your local county parties. And that's why it's so important that the county parties get better organized and energize their people. I was at a meeting of the Cobb County Party here where I live in Marietta, Georgia, just I guess about a week or so ago. And it was very important. We had a large group. People were energized, and we need to see that happen, not just in your main Republican counties. They can't carry all of the weight themselves, but in some of the smaller counties. And the party needs to do a better job of that, to be honest with you.
What if you look at what Bob is saying, and I agree with him 100%. It's probably going to be a status quo one way or the other. But looking at some of these House seats, we could have flipped one or two seats, but your Speaker of the House basically collaborated with the left, with the Democrats and the communists, and bailed when Governor Kemp gave him the opportunity to hold a special session and get two seats for us. So how do you get motivated? Like, all you guys are talking about getting motivated. You just had a speaker that basically gave two seats back to the Democrats because he wouldn't do the special session the way the governor had asked him to do. Like, how do you reconcile that, Sally?
Well, John, I don't think there was anybody in the state of Georgia who was more irritated than me when it came to the special session that occurred over the summer. There were two critical issues. They punted on redistricting. I think that they were very concerned about, anything that you do as a conservative is going to energize the Democrats. And I think that's what they were afraid of. Just as I was talking about the school board situation, it energized the Democrats to come against the Cobb County School Board, which is a conservative board, but only because the president came and went to a local school. That's all it took to get them fired up, to get them writing letters on social media, showing up to meetings and things like that. So what happened at the Capitol was these Democrats basically went down there. They had their boom boxes. They occupied every level of the Capitol. Holly knows, to oppose the redistricting. I wish that Republicans would be so raucous when it comes to what we want sometimes, because that's all it took for them to punt on redistricting, because they were concerned about energizing the Democrats so much that they overwhelmed the November election. I mean, that's the only thing I can figure. I think it's a poor excuse. We have Sanford Bishop's seat that I think that we could have flipped. I see Jim smiling. I'm wondering what his thoughts are on that. But yeah, there are some things that we could have flipped had the redistricting occurred.
Well, Jim, I mean, we're operating out of fear. I mean, they bang drums and have boom boxes, and then we cave. And so you're talking about motivating your base. Like, How does that motivate anybody? You guys are afraid to do the right thing. The governor sent you there. Look, you can say what you want about Brian Kemp, right? The guy did the special session for this cycle. So it's not his fault. Kemp did what he had to do, and I think that's part of his legacy. Now maybe he could have fought them more, but he left it up to the speaker. But they get there and then they cave because somebody's banging a pot and pan. Like what the hell is that?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to offend anybody, John, by going out and showing that we care about our state and our government. That's the political correctness that we need to engage with political correctness to say enough is enough. And we're not doing that. We want to look at them and say, look how silly they look out here en masse, standing up for what they believe. Well, and we don't. That's crazy. Brian Kemp laid it on a platter and said, here, do the right thing. And that was always my position. Sally and I don't think we agreed a lot on some of those topics, but I went to my senator and my House members and said, here's your opportunity. Give the conservative voter something they can take to the bank.
What'd they say?
We don't. Well, the lawsuits are going to come. They're going to come anyway. Well, we're really not ready for this. We've got a new plan coming in 2028 anyway. Are you kidding me?
Unbelievable.
Georgia voters are tired of waiting for somebody to stand up for them that we elect. And here we are.
And I think Rick Jackson will provide a lot of energy for the ticket. He has the resources, he has the energy, he's traveling the state, motivating people. If he can keep up that energy level, then I think it will really help our ticket in the fall.
Well, you got to get your base motivated, and certainly your House Speaker did nothing to do that. I mean, that to me was one of the most unbelievable things. Speaking of Brian Kemp, where's he going now? What's his next move? What's his legacy? Anybody jump in?
I mean, he's had a very, very productive, if somewhat quiet, but very productive 2 terms as governor. I think that he will stay very active. He'll probably join a firm and continue doing work in the semi-public sector. But he's not going away. I think he may run for something down the road as well.
What about taking over as president of the University of Georgia?
Well, he is a big bulldog. That would sort of take him out of electoral politics, and I'm not sure he's ready to do that.
Interesting. What is Holly? What do you see as Kemp's political future?
I think he'll probably stay in it. I hear rumors around. I've heard the one about going to UGA and being the president over there. I've also heard he's going to run for higher office. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I agree with Bob Barr. I don't think he's been a terrible governor. There's certainly things that I've called him out on over the years. But he's not been a terrible governor. And so I see him kind of staying in it.
Well, he has no pathway for the presidential nomination with Vance, Rubio, DeSantis. I mean, he has no pathway there. So that doesn't make any sense now. Maybe things could have been different, but he has no pathway. Doubt he's going to be a VP either. So,
he could be in the cabinet though.
Yeah, he could be in the cabinet. Well, that's I think the best thing President Trump could do, because he's going to have openings after 28. People leave, right? I mean, it's inevitable. They go and make tons of money, right here by my office on K Street. I see all the lobbying firms, they all wear $10,000 Armani suits and walk around with $25,000 Rolex watches. So they do pretty good up here in these lobbying firms. They're right outside my door. There they are right there. So, it's all good. He might do that. But I think he's going to end up, as you say, maybe as a cabinet official in 2029 when the fallout comes, because some of these cabinet members will leave.
He's a smart guy. He presents himself well. He's got a great resume. He's not near done with public service. That's for sure.
Of course, if he comes up here, Marty doesn't want to live in Washington, so I guess you'd have to go back in the weekends. I mean, that's why he didn't want to run for U.S. Senate. I mean, if he had run for U.S. Senate, this whole game's different. The whole thing's changed. I mean, he's going to beat Ossoff. He's going to win that seat, but Marty didn't want to go to Washington, so he didn't do it. And now, now we're going to lose the seat. He could have won. I think he would have won.
Well, there are still options available.
Right. Well, I guess you got Warnock and 28's coming up. That's going to be a crowded field, right? McCormick's going to run for that. He's already told me that, so that's like a done deal. And then you're going to have others. So, it's going to be interesting. Sally, give us an update on the state of the party. Everybody's always ripping on my friend Josh McCoon. They're always ripping on him. And you guys, you're not doing enough. You had that awful convention where everybody's mad at everybody. Give us an update on the state of the
party. They're Republicans.
I mean, all I can say, John, is, when whoever chose the elephant for the, for the mascot of the Republican Party was spot on, because elephants have an extensive memory. In some ways, it's so funny that you mentioned that, John, because sometimes after, you see things happen in politics, and like when Holly mentioned about Keisha Rock Bottoms letting the state burn a few years ago, that's my name for her, Keisha Rock Bottoms. So when she let the state burn downtown Atlanta, all the craziness with the police officers and all that kind of stuff, sometimes people tend to forget those things. But then you talk about the convention that we had in Dalton, and then it's like, oh my gosh, they remember every detail, and so did this and such and all that. Look, it is over. It's done. I had dinner with Josh night before last night. We met to catch up on things. And then, as I mentioned, we had the RNC election integrity group come into town. We had Chairman Joe Gruters at the headquarters last night. I have to give a shout out to the guys who run the election integrity program. They are phenomenal. The RNC is investing the money in Georgia, which I'm so very thankful for. I worked with these guys in 24 with the RNC in the election integrity platform and program and all that kind of stuff. They're definitely very activated on protecting the vote. You can go to protectthevote.org, I think is what the URL is, and get information there. We're recruiting poll watchers. We definitely need poll watchers. Josh is working very hard. And when I showed up at the office, and all these young men in their suits, and they're all standing at the door to greet people, escort them in. They had a great program, went through the poll watching training, and they're working hard. And Josh is facilitating all of that. And Josh and I work well together. So he's gearing up for next month for the midterm convention that's going to be in Dallas, Texas. And getting all of that organized. They've got a program that the executive director, Caleb Conaway, is working on very hard, called Build Georgia, integrating business leaders, conservative business leaders, with candidates, having town halls across the state. It's a great program. So, what I have to say to people who want to criticize is, let's see you step up and lead something. Step up, host events. Step up, lead a program. Step up and engage with our elected officials. And, it's very easy to be an armchair quarterback in politics. It's very easy to sit back on social media and be a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to get out and make things happen. And Josh does.
Sally, you've been doing all of those things ever since I've known you. You're out there working day after day, cycle after cycle, and you set a great example for people in our party to get motivated. I'm amazed at all the things that you do all the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me, especially coming from someone I admire so much. Thank you. But Josh is he's doing all the things, and also, working full time, being a family man. leaves little time for family and personal things. So, as Jim knows, Jim did the same thing, being the chair of the Paulding County Republican Party and then running for Congress. It's not easy, but people will take pot shots every time you turn around. That's for sure.
Are you guys going to Dallas for the convention, Sally?
Yes, sir. I am going.
Well, I'll see you there, right? Holly, are you going?
I'm not going.
Why
I
not?
will miss y'all.
What about Tully? Tully, you going?
I'm staying here. Sally, Holly's going to take care of the southern part of the state, and I'll take care of the north while Sally's gone.
That's right.
Sally's definitely buying the next round, no doubt about it. We're going to be there. I'll get in touch as it gets closer. Even though I'm an elected official in Washington D.C., I have to go with the Virginia delegation because they kicked me out of the party. Because there's a saying here in our party in Washington D.C.: "He who works gets kicked out." Can't do any work here. So if you work, well, then you get kicked out. It's kind of the way it is.
Life
John,
what?
Life is unfair.
It is. Well, John, you're always welcome with Georgia. So
that was my next call, but I went to Jeff Ryer, who's a friend of mine. I actually contacted Ryer and Josh at the same time and said, "Look, Mara kicked me out. He won't let me and Ann go. Ann's pissed, and because I work and show them up because they don't do anything, and I have town halls and I get people involved. I do all the things that you guys are saying, and of course our party chairman doesn't do anything, so therefore you make him look bad, so he kicks you out." So, but Ryer jumped on and said, "Look, all you guys have done, for Virginia over time, you're more than welcome to come with our delegation." So we're going with the Virginia delegation. You can't make this stuff up, Bob. I mean,
I've said that for years about the Republican politics.
You just can't make it up, man. Unbelievable. Anyway, it is what it is. So look, give us this whole data center thing going on. I mean, it is the major campaign issue, as you guys have laid out, and you've got this unholy alliance now between far right, and the communists against data centers. But then I go to another state like West Virginia, and they're begging for the data centers to go there. And then you got Pennsylvania, where you got, the governor, Josh Shapiro, was all for data centers. Now he's opposed to data centers. Stacey Garrity wants a 6-month pause. She's a Republican running for governor. She has a shot to win, by the way. Then you go to Kathy Hochul, who's being held hostage right now by Mandami. So she had a hostage message that said she's going to put a moratorium on data centers for a year. What is going on here? Somebody jump in.
So I know Holly's kind of the expert on the data center thing, but here's the one thing that I want to point out, John, that if we and I said this at the last show, but I think it bears repeating, that data centers, they're a necessary evil, okay, from the standpoint of, when we saw all of our medications go to China, all of our drug production. And I will say, thank goodness that Rick Jackson was, took over the last manufacturer of, antibiotics in the country to bring that manufacturing home. But we have all of this offshoring of manufacturing that has been going on for years, ever since NAFTA happened. And one day, Congressman Barr, I want to have a really intense conversation with you on NAFTA and our manufacturing situation. Because I remember at the time working in manufacturing and seeing things go offshore and seeing the decimation across America of good manufacturing, like, for instance, Russell Athletic from Alexander City, Alabama, all that manufacturing going to Mexico and to other countries. Along with that went our technology manufacturing, right? So then you've got data centers in China and India, and then they're leading the way because we don't have manufacturing here. We've talked about the manufacturing of transformers. If we had a major electrical issue and we have all these transformers go out, look at the lead time on actually purchasing transformers to get power up and going. I talked to someone not long ago about remanufacturing transformers so that we could at least sustain our infrastructure here in America. So,
All
saying
right, but
no to data.
you've not answered my question on whether or not you're for a moratorium on data centers. Yes or
I
no?
I am I am for a pause, not a moratorium, to
How
say
long?
let's do this in a smart way.
How
But
long?
we've got, I mean, I can't answer that, John, because I think it requires a deeper dive. We've got to be able to store our own data. We complain about China being in control of our data. Well, if we want to be in control of it, where are we going to do that?
Okay, so you want to pause to figure it out, but you don't want to, you want to hold the door open. Holly?
Well, I agree. I think, this is sometimes I use the phrase it's a war of many fronts. So it's kind of the same thing here with the data centers, right? You've got the technology aspect. So where are these components that are going into data centers? Where are they coming from? That's a huge, huge question for me because I'm very well abreast on the foreign interference when it comes to the technology side. So that's a big question. The second thing is back to messaging in the Republicans. We're just all of a sudden seeing these things pop up out of the gate and in every single community. They're trying to put them in literally almost every single county. So I think there needs to be a pause there. And they're not just like, take, for example, Effingham. There's a lot of undeveloped area in Effingham, but they chose right dead center in the middle of the heart of Effingham County where all the hustle and bustle is, right in between a bunch of residents, in between two elementary schools. So the location is questionable there because of the effects. So I think there could be better planning. I
Okay,
think
you're both losing the argument, right? I've asked two people. Here's what I got. I want to pause. I don't know how long. I don't like Effingham, but we got to have him, but we don't know when. And the other side is saying we don't want him. That's pretty clear. You guys are not clear. You talk about messaging. You both ladies, this is completely muddled, right? I don't know what your position is, and it's been 5 minutes. Jim Tully, data centers. Where you want it? What should Republicans do? Because this is going to be a big piece of your election coming up.
We're not answering the question that the opposition is posing. Power consumption, water consumption, noise, setbacks. And when they're asking those questions and being accusatory towards those points, county commissions, state government is sitting on their hands. They can't even answer those simple questions. And if it's about power consumption, how's Georgia Power going to respond to the uptick in power consumption? What is the cooling platform that has these people so worried that you're going to have green water, radioactive water coming out of your spigot? We're not answering the simplest questions. I think everybody understands we need to protect American interests, but the kitchen table aspect of power and water and noise, and to Holly's point, Sally knows too, in your backyard, those are the big things that aren't being answered.
Well, you nailed it. That's why you guys are losing the argument on data centers, because their position, Bob, their position is ban them. Our position, or the position of this panel, is we got to ask 150 questions. It just doesn't sell. And nobody wants it in their backyard, obviously.
Mhm.
And I thought, I don't agree with Kathy Hochul on anything. And she is a hostage of Madami. She's basically a hostage. But she nailed it when she said, look, they're sucking up our power. They're sucking up our water. It's causing rates to go up. I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but I'm done with it until we figure it out. And that's going to be 1 year, no data centers. Have a nice day. That poll, tremendous for her, as bad as she is. And it could beat Blakeman, but we don't have a clear message on the other side, Bob.
Well, we don't. And part of the problem, of course, is the term has become very, very negative. Data centers. Somebody needs to come up in the industry. Somebody needs to come up with a better name for these things. Something other than data centers. These are employment centers. These employ people. These provide money and tax base for a community. They need to be emphasizing the positive nature of it. Plus the fact, if they are not built here, they're going to be built somewhere else. And that money, that tax base and those employment numbers are going to go somewhere else. It's up to our elected officials, particularly at the local level, to put a positive light on the economic benefits of these, the same way, they do every time there's a new industry. Somebody's going to get it, and if your state doesn't put a positive spin on it and invite them in, put proper guardrails on them, they're going to go to another state.
It's interesting. Here's what West Virginia did, because they're taking the opposite view. They all want them. They say we got plenty of space, we got plenty of water. We want them. We want the jobs. We need industry coming in. We need the tax base. But here's what we're going to do. You come in, you got to pay for your own electricity. You just figure it out. You give us a plan that you'll pay for it, and we're good. You have to get with Dominion Energy, Hope Gas, who's ever there, whatever the power plan is, as long as not 1 cent is going in a rate increase for the residents. We'll give you the water. We got plenty of that. You pay for the electricity. We're in. And so that's a sucking sound going into West Virginia, but that's clear. Like there's clarity there. And for this panel, except for Bob and Jim, half of it, you've not given clarity. And I think that's why you guys are losing the argument. Tully, did anybody tell you ought to run for Congress?
Well, Sally mentioned it once. We're thinking about it.
I was Team Tully.
You did it. You had a bus, dude.
I had a bus.
You're like me. We're the only two guys that have a bus on the earth.
I know.
I saw you in that bus. I love that.
It was great.
Great
time.
You get out and talk to the people.
Absolutely. Love
Best
people.
way to do it, man, is go. You go on that bus. You go to the diner. I mean,
been there, done that.
They're going to tell you.
Make the difference.
They're going to tell you exactly what's going on. You can't hear it on social media, right? The guy in the gal in the diner, with the hat on, that just got off work or just going to work. They're going to tell you what's what.
Yeah, that's right. The truth.
And you know what, John, I can tell you back in the day, Congressman Barr did just that, because I can tell you, and I related to him. We had breakfast together not long ago, and back in the day, I can remember being at a restaurant and he was meeting with people at a local restaurant, and my son was with me. He was about 8 years old at the time, and I was like, "There's Congressman Barr. Can you believe we're eating in a restaurant with Congressman Barr?" And he was so kind to give us his autograph, and it was just a tremendous moment for my son. I still have it framed. And so I think, like I said earlier, a legacy of leadership. I think if so many of our elected officials took the position that Bob Barr did to relate to the people, do the bus tour, meet with the people, shake the hands, convey the message, sometimes that's what we're missing. And so I'm thankful that when Jim ran for Congress, he did all the things.
We need another Bob Barr. We need Bob to stay involved. But listen, I'm kind of jealous here, right? I mean, the whole segment, I had dinner with this person, I had dinner with Joe Gruters, I had breakfast with Bob Barr, I had drinks with Josh McCoon. Where's my dinner? What am I, chopped liver? I'm going to Dallas. You better take me and Ann to dinner, right, Holly?
That's right.
I'm like Red Buttons. I never got a dinner.
Come to Dallas, Georgia, and I'll buy you dinner.
Bob's going to buy me dinner. I'm coming, Bob.
Okay.
I'll do anything for a free meal. We work for food.
That's right.
No, we definitely need to hang out in Dallas, Texas, but you need to come to Dallas, Georgia. Then you can also have dinner with Jim Tully too.
Isn't Dallas in Paulding County, right?
Yeah, right next door to Sally.
I like Paulding County.
And I'll have to drive up.
John, you did your show in the Paulding headquarters, about 5-6 years ago.
I did?
Yeah.
Who was there?
Me and you, baby.
You were?
Yeah, I was there. I got pictures to prove it.
I did my show in your office.
Yeah,
I remember doing it.
You were in a bus. The Godzilla. You had the Godzilla on the desk. It was great.
Wow, I don't remember that. Yeah. I remember.
I think it was in the Kelly Loeffler Senate race. You were there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was Paulding County.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, I was the one Trump conservative that backed Kelly Loeffler. Nobody else did but me.
Your production team was about 6 iPhones scattered around the room. Beaming
got
and
him.
dead for that.
I still got him, dude. I got another one here somewhere. We run this whole company on cell phones.
Yeah.
And my Starlink. Gotta have the Starlink. Go to sat123.com, get your Starlink Mini, and you too can be like John and Jim Tully.
Thank goodness for Elon Musk.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, Bob, $169, and I think I pay like $52 a month. It's like unbelievable. And the thing fits right in my briefcase.
Yep.
It's Starlink. It's brilliant. It's $169. Go to sat123.com. Sally owes me a dinner. Paulding County.
You got it.
Sally. Bob.
I'll be there and I'll split it with Sally.
It's good to see you, Bob. It really, it's been so long. It's just good to see you. It's good to have my crew for Bob Barr, Sally Grubbs, Holly Kessler, Jim Tully, even though Sally and Holly could not articulate what the hell they're doing with data centers. I still love you both. Tully almost got there, but Tully should run for Congress. That's what I. All right, guys, we got to go. Michael Patrick Leahy next. You're listening to the John Fredericks Media Network. Thanks for being with us.
So long.
Bye, everybody.
Darlene Graham advancing to a Republican Senate primary runoff in South Carolina. Search for signs of life in the rubble of Columbia's power